for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I would,
The,
but can
the
you?
first
You
sequence.
sound a little quiet. Is Darth Dawkins? Can you say something and test the volume?
All right, is
Here.
that better?
Yeah, you're a
All
lot
right.
louder. I can hear you a lot clearer. All right.
Do you have my volume turned up? It was on an external mic, so I'm not sure if you have my volume turned all the way up. I'll be too overly loud, but
That's good. So yeah, I'll give a introduction.
okay, you get started, and then Darth will follow up with his.
So as far as I know, Darth's position is that you can't justify logic, rationality, reason, etc., without appealing to a god. And I'm going to say yes, you can. And there's several ways to do that. In philosophy, the classical way is to start with I think, therefore I am, I exist. And then the fact that I exist, I'm a part of this reality thing. And reality is reality, so that gives us the law of identity. So we can just ground the law of logic purely based off of the fact I exist. And we know there's one reality, or at least one reality, or one of me. And so we can ground math off of the same thing. I think, therefore I am. So we can ground logic and math and rationality all purely just based off I think, therefore I am. We don't need any appeal to a god at all. And that does give us a connection to the fundamental nature of reality because, I exist in reality somewhere. So that is some connection to the fundamental nature of reality. But there's a second part is that if you think you need to appeal to the fundamental nature of reality to ground rationality, the atheist can just make up a kind of a god just like theists do. We could say it's grounded in naturalistic pantheism, which is just an eternal, all-powerful nature with no consciousness. So it's essentially just the God without the mind, and we can say there's just a law of nature that gives us rationality, and it's just the awesomeness law, and it's the greatest possible imaginable awesomeness law, or whatever. And we can just make up a equivalent to the God hypothesis just under naturalism, and so we can ground logic and rationality purely based off of I think, therefore I am, or we can ground it off of just the fact that nature exists or some law of nature. Either one of those gives us a better ground than theism. And the theism one doesn't work because it's essentially just an assertion that God has a nature that would give us correct rationality. And it could just be the case that he wouldn't. He would just give us irrationality. There could be an evil God, essentially. And so simply just defining God as a being that would give us the correct kind of rationality. But we can just do the same thing and just say nature has a law that is just by definition the law that would give us a kind of rationality. So any justification used in presuppositionalism can be matched equally under atheism. And the reason we don't do that is because that methodology doesn't work. The real way to ground rationality is just based off I think, therefore I am. And that'll conclude my opening.
Go ahead, Darth.
When you say I think, therefore I am, are you making a statement of fact?
Yes.
Okay, what is the context in which that fact exists?
Reality, I think. Could you clarify
What's that? What is that?
the stuff that exists? I'm not sure what you mean.
What is the context within which I think exists? What is it? You said reality. What is that? Excuse me.
I'd go with I can then go with the naturalistic pantheism. It's just like eternal, all powerful nature, matter and energy and motion.
No, listen, dude. I've listened to enough of your debates. I find it really
Well, I'm trying to
pathetic
answer your
that you
question. I'm
keep
not
on
sure what you
offering.
mean.
Please do not overtalk me.
Annoying. Fucking annoying. This Darth Dawkins, huh? He sits there and he starts fucking taking over the debate. Tell him, don't overtalk me. Your opinions are kooky. I've listened to you before. But what I want you guys to, excuse me. What I want you guys to do is notice how many times Darth Dawkins asks a question. An answer is given in response, and then notice again how many times Darth Dawkins asks the exact same question followed by the same answer. Question, exact same answer. Question, same answer. Question. This happens in this clip literally half a dozen times conservatively. Because every question that Darth Dawkins comes up with, he asks multiple times. And his opponent responds to each question. If Darth Dawkins asks a yes or no question, and the answer is yes or no, Darth Dawkins doesn't accept it, and he asks the question again, expecting a different answer. Darth Dawkins, by this metric, is insane. All right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you there? I can't hear you.
Go ahead, T-Jump.
Well, no. I wanted to hear what Darth had to say. Is he still there? Did he stop talking?
Why was I muted?
So yeah, I was just trying to understand what Darth's position
Why was I muted?
I was confused. All right. There's people over talking. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was speaking and then I got muted.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize for that. Go ahead, Darth. What were you saying?
I've heard you make up stuff all the time. It could be this, it could be this, that, whatever. I'm not really interested in your fantasies. I want to know what the ontological.
So Tom Jump has fantasies. Darth Dawkins, on the other hand, spews utter garbage, verbal garbage. So what's the difference, Darth Dawkins? I've listened to this before a couple of times, and Darth Dawkins just annoys me more each time. But I learn more each time by reinforcing the insanity that emerges from the mind of Darth Dawkins. Listen up.
Logical context of I thinking is as a fact.
What do you mean by
Do you believe that fact? I'll explain it to you. Do you believe that a fact can be invoked as actual and intelligible without context?
I'm not sure what that means. So when I say a fact is something that is true because it corresponds to reality. I don't know what you mean by context.
Okay. In order for something to be a fact, does it require ontological context?
Do you mean correspond to reality? Because I would say yes. Is that what you mean by context?
No, I'm just saying context. Okay. Is there a context? Is there a context in which a fact exists? Or is there no context that the fact that you're invoking is existing?
I don't know what that means. So I would say that a fact is true if it corresponds to reality. So I would say context.
You're not addressing my question. Okay?
Well, I don't know how to. I don't know what you mean.
Does a fact? You don't know what context means?
Not. I don't think so. Like, could you explain it to me? Like, because when I say context, I mean,
really, do me a favor. Don't play dumb.
I'm not playing dumb.
Okay?
I literally do not know what you mean by context.
Yeah. Well, context means the ontological framework from which a fact exists in. Okay. Now, can you invoke the actuality and intelligibility of any given fact without context, or does the actuality and intelligibility of fact require context?
I'm still trying to understand what you mean. So it seems to me that what you're saying is, does a fact need to correspond to a reality to be true? And I would
That's not what I said. It's not what I said.
I know. I'm trying to phrase it.
Does a fact require? Can we invoke the actuality and intelligibility of a fact without context, or does the actuality and intelligibility of a fact require that there be a metaphysical or ontological context or framework?
So does there need to be a fundamental nature of reality for the fact to correspond to? Yes, and I would call that context.
Okay. What is the context within the fact of I think exists within?
Whatever reality is. Like it doesn't tell us. It doesn't need to. Like
what?
For example,
what is that? What is that?
it doesn't tell us. Like, for example, I think, therefore I am. My mind could be purely physical. It could
No,
be.
I want to know. I want to know.
answering.
I want to know
I'm
what
answering.
I want to know. Yeah, you keep on repeating yourself. I want to know specifically and clearly what the context is.
Yes. Let me answer. Okay, so we don't need to answer that question. It could be lots of different things. So it could.
No, you
be,
do need to answer the question.
I will. So this is just context. I'm just giving context here. So if I think, therefore I am, I could be in an idealistic universe where consciousness is fundamental. That could be the fundamental thing.
I'm not asking you to speculate.
This is just me giving context. I'm going to answer your question. Just give me like 2 minutes. So I think, therefore I am doesn't tell us whether or not the universe is purely idealistic in just consciousness, or if it's dualistic in both material and consciousness, or just materialistic and just physical. Any of those are possibilities. It doesn't matter which one of those.
I don't need a lecture.
So Darth, it could be any of those, and I think, therefore I am doesn't care if no matter what is the case, it's still going to be true. So I don't need to know what the fundamental nature of reality is for I think, therefore I am to be an accurate description of reality. I don't need to know if it's idealistic. I don't need to know if it's naturalistic. I don't need to know if it's dualistic. It doesn't make a difference. I can still ground rationality regardless of what the ontological nature of reality is. It makes no difference.
Yeah, mute me again, and that'll be the end of the conversation. Okay? Now, I want to know the context that provides metaphysically for the fact in question and its intelligibility. What is it?
Right. Were you listening when I just said that? So I don't actually need to know that. I can say whatever it is.
I didn't ask you whether you need to know it. I want to know, okay, when you invoke a fact is only going to exist ultimately within the ultimate context that it's derived from. A fact cannot exist ontologically from different models of reality, because there's only one model of reality that is true. I want to know what the ultimate context ontologically is that instantiates both the fact of I think and its intelligibility. What is it?
Well, remember, it could be many different things, and they were all.
I didn't ask you that.
No, I think you did. So let me try to answer.
I want to know what it is.
I'm trying to answer, Darth. I'm really trying to answer here. So I could just say it's naturalistic pantheism. It's just matter and energy and motion, and that's it. I can say that. That is fine. But again, the correct
I want
answer,
to know what is
matter and energy and motion.
Ultimate. I want to know. I want to know. I don't want you to tell me what it could be, might be.
I'm saying it is matter and energy and motion. That's what it is.
Are you okay? You're asserting that I think is in a realm of matter and energy.
Yes.
Is that what is ultimate?
Yes, matter and energy and motion.
Okay. Now, so that's in the context of an array of particulars of matter and energy.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you aware of the fact that you cannot have a plurality that are ultimate? You can only have something that is singular, that is ultimate.
Which law of physics? Like, I know of no law of physics.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not discussing physics right now. Okay, I'm discussing metaphysics.
Okay, based on which law of metaphysics is
okay, now, true? Okay, listen, I'm talking about, I didn't say a law of metaphysics. I said metaphysics. Now,
right.
Now,
so
if you have two or more entities, okay, are they that provide for the context of I think? Are each of them in and of themselves ultimate?
I don't know what that means. Like, so
any of the particulars that you claim that I think exist in your atheistic outlook, are each of the particulars ultimate?
Yes. So I'd say, like, if we assume a brain.
Okay, that's it. That's incoherent.
What is?
Okay, I'm going to explain to you why. No, it is completely incoherent to have two or more, a plurality, okay? Because if we have two things and you claim they're ultimate, then they would exist independently of each other. There is no grand ultimate unifier that institutes and secures them. So they would simply exist independent of each other. All right. And so
I have no idea
therefore,
what you mean.
if we have two or more particulars in your grand scheme of things,
Wait, so could you let me use an example?
are these things brute facts? They just simply exist?
Yeah, essentially. So like if we have two
Good.
particles,
Then if they're brute facts, okay, then if your array of particulars are brute facts, then they're not ultimate. Chance would be ultimate then.
no, chance would just be
Brute facts.
No.
Brute facts, by definition, are facts that simply are without any identifiable explanation whatsoever. They just are. They just happen to be.
Yeah, identifiable.
So then by definition, they would not be ultimate. So
No.
do you believe?
Go back. What is your definition of ultimate?
Do you believe? Shut up.
Wait, you said brute facts
you're such a
can't be
motor mouth.
ultimate.
Listen to me.
I'm trying to ask for clarification. I want to know.
Okay. Yeah, you're getting very irritating now.
All right,
Now,
finish up your question, Darth, and then we'll let him respond.
You have an array. You have an array of particulars, right? You said each one of those particulars that exist in your abstract concept of reality, each of them in and of them by themselves, they are ultimate.
I don't know.
But they couldn't be each individually ultimate, because there are other things that exist independently of each other. Ultimate means it would be the ground of all existence.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Ultimate just doesn't mean something exists. Okay? It means that it exists and it is the ground of all existence. Okay? That's how I'm using the term.
Okay, so I'm using the term differently. I'm using the term ultimate to mean.
Then what you're doing is you're equivocating on my use of the word.
Well, I didn't know what your use of the term was. So
okay, yeah. Ultimate means that there is something, okay, that is absolute, it's eternal, and it is the basis, ground of all being.
Okay, I can just reject your definition. I can say that the ultimate nature of reality as metaphysics could just be the quality of what it is.
Listen to me.
Things
Things are not going to go well if you keep on just throwing out what you're fantasizing. I want to know concretely what you believe about the nature of reality, not what you could just sit there and fantasize and verbalize.
Right.
Now, I want to know, is there something that is singular, that is the ground of all existence, that institutes and secures all possibility and impossibility?
No, that's a made-up definition that doesn't respond to anything in reality. I don't need that.
I'll ask the question again. Is there something that is singularly ultimate?
I said no, that's false.
That institutes all. Okay. Listen to me. You are one irritating person.
Wait, how?
Is there something? Mute his microphone. Is there something that is singularly eternal, absolute, non-dependent, that institutes all possibility and impossibility in your view?
No, that is not a thing we need for reality. That is a made-up definition.
Okay. I didn't give you a definition. I asked you if such a state of affairs exists. I'll try it again.
That's why I
started
with no.
Stop over talking me.
I started with no.
Is there? Stop over talking me. Is there something that is singularly absolute, unconditionally non-dependent, eternal, without beginning, and is the beginning point and the ground and that which institutes and secures all possibility?
No, you do not need that.
Okay. So in other words, there is nothing that institutes what's possible and impossible.
You don't need a singular thing. That's a made-up criterion that that's not required in physics or metaphysics.
Okay. I'm not discussing physics here. So you are saying that there is nothing singular. So is there a plurality of independent and unrelated particulars that institute what's possible and impossible?
Depends on how you define related. So I'd say matter and energy is fundamental, and I'm
not discussing simply matter and energy. I'm saying you have just conceded that there is nothing that is singular the ground of all existence, instituting all possibility and impossibility. So is there a plurality of unrelated and unconnected particulars that institute possibility?
If you would define matter and energy in that way, then I would say yes.
Okay, and how do you know that?
Because I think, therefore I am, and I exist.
That is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard an atheist debater ever say.
Okay, let me go into more detail there. So I think, therefore I am is how I ground rationality, and then I can use.
No, stop. Stop.
Let me answer your question. You've been talking for like 5 minutes. You've been talking for 5 minutes.
You telling me about
I'm going to ask you to mute
consciousness.
you if you don't give me a chance to talk.
Let me get a chance to talk. Telling me about your. You see, our first conversation.
You asked how I know. I need to tell you how I know. Right?
No, I don't need you to give me a community college lecture about I think, therefore I am.
Right,
I want you to know by what means was your mind able to determine that there is a plurality of things that are instituting possibility.
Can I answer now?
Okay, yeah. And please don't give me a lecture about I think, therefore I am.
I'm not giving you a lecture. So I start with I think, therefore I am. That's how I ground.
I've already heard that.
Yes, I know you have. I'm going to the next parts now. You got to let me finish. So I start with I think, therefore I am, and that's how I ground rationality and logic, and then I can see there's some difference between my imagination and my experience. When I imagine a unicorn, I don't see one. There's some difference between those two things. Then we need some methodology to differentiate between those two things, and for lots of reasons we go to science, future testable predictions. That gives us a way to differentiate the imaginary things from the real things, and future testable predictions gives us science and particles and matter and computers and all these things, and we can determine those exist through the methodology of science, which can differentiate between imagination and experience. That's how we get to matter and energy.
You're not addressing my question. Which you have nothing you said. Nothing you said addressed my question.
Okay, how so?
No, it didn't address my question. How are you able to determine that there is a plurality of unconnected, unrelated things that institute possibility and impossibility versus something that is singular? How are you able to determine?
I didn't say singular was impossible. I said it wasn't required. So it could be a plurality. It could be singular.
So you do not know what ultimately institutes what's possible and impossibility. Then is that your position?
The correct position is yes. We do not know what the fundamental nature of reality is, but I can assert plurality just like you asserted.
You do. Okay, so in other words, since you have no identifiable source of that which institutes possibility and impossibility, is that correct? That you do not have any identifiable, attestable source of what institutes and secures possibility and impossibility?
Not everything about it, but I do have one thing. I think, therefore I am. So I do have some.
No, stop. Listen to me. I'm going to barf if I hear that again. Okay. I'm not interested in you saying you're reading me your little script that you give to people all the time. Do you know what institutes at all, if any, possibility and impossibility?
Equally as much as you do, yes.
What is it that ultimately institutes all possibility and impossibility?
Matter
is it singular or is it a plurality?
Plurality.
Is it? How do you know that it's a plurality as opposed to it is something that's singular?
We have a methodology to differentiate between imagination and reality.
That's gobbledygook. What you just said.
How so?
We have a methodology. That's gobbledygook. How are you able to ascertain that which ultimately institutes possibility and impossibility is a plurality of unconnected and unrelated particulars versus something that is singular? How are you able to determine that?
Because we have a methodology to differentiate between different
possibilities. That's the same gobbledygook you answered 60 seconds ago.
You didn't explain how that wasn't an answer.
That is why I'm repeating the same question again.
Right,
when you say we have a methodology, you're not addressing the question. Now I'm going to ask it again. Shut up.
How is that not addressing the question?
Shut up. And I'm going to ask the question again for the third time. How are you able to specifically, I don't want a generalization, okay?
What?
I don't want ambiguity. I want a clear and precise answer. How you were able to determine that there is a series of particulars that are unrelated and unconnected that institute possibility over versus something that would be singularly ultimate. How were you able to determine that? I want specificity.
Science Science makes testable predictions. We can differentiate that there are multiple particles. Is that like what you're looking for?
I'm waiting for an answer.
Science can show us there are particles that exist in energy and matter.
Science?
Yes.
Are you referring to laws of nature?
Science is a methodology to understand the laws of nature. Maybe.
Okay. Is there something that institutes and secures that there are indeed laws of nature?
I don't know what you mean.
Do laws of nature exist?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that institutes and secures that there are actual laws?
They're a part of reality. What do you mean?
What is that?
Nature? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're asking.
What is it that institutes and secures that there are any laws at all?
Laws are just descriptions of the nature of reality. So
are there laws of nature?
Yes.
Okay. Is there something that institutes and secures that continuity?
I don't know what you mean. So a law is a description of how nature operates.
Okay.
A law
are laws actual universals?
I don't think so. Laws are descriptions of the way nature is. Laws aren't like things that exist independently.
Oh, so they're not laws. It just happens to be that way.
They're descriptions of the nature of reality.
Are the things that happens, are they governed by laws, or things just happen to be that way and that they can change at any time?
They're brute facts, so they can't change any time. They can't be not themselves.
I'm talking about laws, regularities.
Right.
Is there something that institutes and secures that there are indeed universals that we call laws of nature?
Sure, their nature secures them.
Oh, okay. So these laws are they eternal?
Some of them yes, some of them no.
How do you know which one is eternal?
Because some of them entail that it exists in reality, and some of them can change, like gravity. We know some.
How do you know that these are? Listen, dude. Do you think I'm stupid? Listen to me. You're giving me rhetoric. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling the audience. I want to know, what particular law do you have in mind that is eternal without beginning and is non-derivational? What would that be? That's not that. Reality is an abstraction.
What? Reality is just everything that exists.
Want to know.
It's literally not an abstraction.
So all of the particulars that exist, each in and of themselves, are eternal?
No, reality is the eternal thing. It's the
okay. Reality. Listen to me. Aren't you embarrassed right now?
No.
You're giving me. Listen to me. You should be. You are giving me gobbledygook. Reality is reality.
Yeah.
Is reality? Is that a
that's the
something
law of identity.
Okay, listen to me. Is reality something that is concrete or an abstraction?
Concrete.
Good. Is that reality that you say is a concrete? Is it a concrete one or a concrete many?
Many.
What?
Many.
Okay. So in other words, there is a innumerable number of particulars that simply exist, and there's nothing singularly that unifies them.
Yeah,
is there?
Is
there anything?
Like they're all a part of reality?
Is there any? Since you reject that God is the creator and the grand unifier,
yes.
Is there something that singularly imposes unity among the diversity of these eternal particulars?
They're all a part of reality. They're like all related in that way.
Reality now is an abstraction. It's an abstraction of a mental set of unconnected, unrelated particulars. Okay? So reality is not a concrete one, it's a concrete many. So when you say reality and as a one, that's an abstraction. Okay?
So you're talking about
you're talking about a set of particulars. Now, is there anything at all that ultimately institutes and imposes unity among all the different particulars?
By unity, do you mean is there a reason they all follow the same patterns? Is that what you're asking?
Is there something that imposes any kind of unity among the diversity of particulars?
I'm still trying to understand what that means. Are you asking why do they all follow the
Do
same
you know what
patterns?
unity means? If I show you,
Yeah, unity means like a connection.
yeah, there's something that unifies them from the top down.
Right.
Is there something that is ultimate,
Like
that imposes and institutes and secures any unity among the particulars?
are you like asking for a property they share or something? I'm still not sure what you mean.
Is there something that unifies them from the top down,
They
that
all
institutes
exist?
and
They're
secures?
all a part of reality? Like, yes?
You know, for somebody who does a bazillion YouTube videos, who debates and argues all the time, you're not sounding too smart right now.
Not so sure
Now,
about that.
and it's amazing how you. Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
Yes.
Now,
Your
I want to
combination
know: is there unity among the diversity of particulars in existence? These particulars that are eternal. Is there any actual ontological unity, not an abstract unity? I'm talking about a concrete unity.
I'm not sure what that means because that combination of words is not used.
You don't know.
Wait.
You don't
Let me
know
clarify.
unity among diversity.
I'm
Listen
asking
to
for
me.
clarification.
If I have two identical twins, okay?
Yeah.
We have unity among diversity. We have an ontological unity because they're sisters. Okay? They share a common DNA that is imposed by something from the top down. Now, I want to know, in your conception, in your God-free world, see what I'm driving at is,
yeah, I think I
you want to believe,
you
want to believe that you can have intelligibility for the world around you with this array of particulars.
Yes.
Okay. And the purpose of my questioning to you is that it is impossible for you to do so. And so far, you've been unable to answer the question.
Because
you
I don't
keep on
understand.
Of course, yeah, I don't, yeah, you're playing dumb.
So let me, I think I understand, like, I understand your twin analogy.
Shut up.
I want to stick with your twin analogy.
Is there something
Yeah. So
that
yes.
ultimately
yes,
and
yes,
concretely imposes unity among the diversity of particulars?
So using your twin analogy, in the same way the twins are the same because they share DNA, the same.
You are dodging the question.
I'm literally answering the question. So you said that the twins are the same because they share DNA. The same thing is true of the particulars. The particulars are the same because they share.
No, I want to know.
It was your analogy.
Okay.
So they share the same property because they're all made of energy.
Listen to me. What is it that concretely imposes the unity among the diversity? If we have an array of unconnected, unrelated particulars, each of these particulars in your scheme without God, okay, each of these particulars simply exist in and of themselves, correct?
Yes.
Good. So they're eternal. They're absolute. Now,
yes,
if we have two or more particulars that are eternal, is there something that ultimately and ontologically imposes unity among the diversity? Not abstractly, I mean concretely.
Again, I'm not sure what that means because no one in philosophy uses those terms. That's just like gobbledygook to me. So they all exist. They all share that property. They all exist. They're all a part of reality. So in that sense, yes.
You are one of the worst people I've ever talked to. Okay. You are a very deceptive and deceitful person. I will ask the question again, and this is why I get pissed talking with you, because you are an incredibly evasive person. And then you want to go, oh, I don't hear anyone talking about the philosophy. I'm talking to you right now. Is there something that concretely is ultimate, that imposes concrete unity among all of the independent particulars that are each eternal?
Well, again, those phrases are not used in philosophy, so I don't know what that means.
That's the second time you said that. I ignored your gobbledygook response.
No. So
that is not an answer to my question. That was a deceptive. Okay, stop over talking me. That was a deceptive response on your part, trying to bamboozle me and bamboozle the audience. Now, is there something that is concrete that imposes unity concretely among the unconnected particulars.
That's gibberish. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know.
No,
what
that's
your
a
question.
question. That's a question.
It's gibberish.
Is
Like,
there
literally
something?
Those words don't mean anything.
So there is nothing that imposes ontological unity among.
I don't know what that gibberish means. You keep saying that gibberish as if I can understand
It's
it.
not that gibberish. It's not gibberish. Is there something that imposes unity?
Still gibberish. You keep repeating the same gibberish.
Listen to me, dude.
I can't understand it even when you say it like a million times.
Listen to me. You know what? You're a scumbag.
Okay. Still don't understand your gibberish.
I will tell you to your face. You are a deceitful scumbag.
Now
is there something? Stop over talking me. And I'm going to call you out to your face because you are a scumbag. That's great.
You keep repeating the same gibberish.
I asked you the question.
I've answered it.
You are a scumbag.
Last chance.
Okay.
Can you mute him because I got to answer the question.
You are a scumbag. I will ask the question again. Okay. All you're simply doing is mute his microphone. Mute this guy's microphone.
Could you mute him so I can answer the question?
Mute his microphone.
Because I need to be able to.
Now, I asked you a question. I asked you a question. Is there something ontologically, okay, that imposes actual unity?
Hey, host guy, could you mute him
not
abstractly, so I can answer the question?
But is there something that ontologically imposes unity among all of the separate particulars?
Meaningless gibberish.
You have an answer to that?
They all exist in reality. That's the answer. So yes, your gibberish is still meaningless. So again, to answer your stupid question, is there something that connects them all? Yes, they all exist in reality. That is the connection.
No, you're not.
All real.
You are saying that the unity is abstract. I'm not asking you.
I'm saying they
there's
all
an
exist.
abstract unity. I'm asking you: is there something that concretely imposes unity among the diversity?
Yes, they exist. That is not abstract. That is a concrete thing. They exist.
Do you know the difference between? Do you understand the difference between?
You don't.
A concrete unity versus an abstract unity?
I have no idea what you mean by unity. You're just making shit up. Your gibberish is incoherent.
Okay. All right. You know what? We're done.
Okay. Then you can continue with your gibberish.
Listen. No, we're done. Listen to me. Listen to me. You are a scumbag. You are a deceitful scumbag. Listen to me. You are a deceitful scumbag. I am asking you legitimate questions.
And I answered legitimately.
Okay. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Yes.
You are a lying scumbag.
No, I answered
I'm going to
legitimately.
call you
my
out.
Answer
this
was
is
going
to go to YouTube. You are a fast talker. I am asking you legitimate philosophical questions.
And I answered legitimate philosophical answers.
So either there is something that imposes unity among the diverse particulars,
gibberish,
or there is something that does not. What is it that imposes the unity?
They exist. They're a part of reality. That's the thing.
That's an abstract unity.
It's
so there, is the unity abstract or concrete?
Unity is a word your gibberish made up. I don't know what you mean by.
Okay, unity. You know what? We're done. We're done. You cannot have a conversation with you. You are a deceitful person. Is the unity abstract? Is it where you abstract with your mind? You perform a set, or is the unity concrete?
Concrete, yes.
Good. What is it that imposes the concrete unity among the diverse particulars?
It exists. That's concrete. Existence is concrete.
No, you're not understanding. All you're simply doing is you have an abstract set of particulars. Particular 1, particular 2, particular 3, they exist. Okay? They're a part of a conceptual set. Now, is there something as opposed to an abstract set? Is there something that concretely joins them together other than they're a part of a mental abstract set?
Particulars can't be abstract. That's why they're particulars. They're concrete things by nature.
Listen to me, dude. Do you ever get tired in being deceitful?
I'm not being deceitful. I'm giving an honest answer.
You are being deceitful. I'm asking you a legitimate question. You are being argumentative. You are being evasive here. Now, I want to know, and this is why I call you out as a scumbag. All right? Now, you are deliberately using your ability to be verbose to dodge the question. If we had 2 or more particulars,
yes,
other than they happen to exist, okay, We got particular one, particular two, and you have an abstract set, okay? Other than them being within your abstract set in your mind forms a set. We say we have particular one, particular two. What is it that concretely unifies them as opposed to you joining them together in a mental set? What is it?
Existence. Existence is a set.
Existence is not existence. Existence. Look, suppose we have two particulars and that's all that exists, or three particulars. Okay.
Right.
We got particular one, particular two, particular three. Now,
wait, are you asking what they're made of? Is that what you're asking?
Is what unifies them? Okay. What unifies them? Is it a concrete unity or an abstract unity?
Wait, are you asking what
you just said
makes
that?
them, like, what
Is the concrete unity or an abstract unity?
Still don't know what that means. Are you asking what
okay,
they're made of?
Is
like,
it an abstract unity? I'm asking you.
Concrete,
if we have three extant particulars,
always going to be concrete.
Okay,
always going to be
what?
concrete.
Okay, explain to me what is it that concretely joins them together?
They're all made of energy. They're matter and energy and motion. They're all energy.
You're not understanding. Okay, because energy is a class. Okay.
No, it's a physical thing. It's a concrete thing.
You're not understanding. So what is it that the one particular shares the same attributes? What institutes that these attributes are the same?
They're both made of energy.
Well, you're just simply giving me as a name. What is it that imposes that they're the same concretely?
Well, you give me a name. If teacher says God,
the same thing,
the name is valid.
Energy?
What secures that they're not cosmic doppelgangers?
What do you mean?
Do you know what a doppelganger is?
Something that looks exactly like something else but isn't the same.
Right. Well, you could see somebody could say, oh, those are identical twins, that they have some aspect of concrete unity among their unity. They share the same DNA. Right. They share the same properties and attributes to a certain extent. You are saying that the three particulars in this example share the same properties and attributes. Yes. Okay. Now, the fact that they share the same attributes, they're sharing the same attributes. Are they cosmic doppelgangers or not?
No, they all share the same attributes.
What imposes that the attributes are not doppelgangers?
You see how far he's going into the universe.
Exist separately as particulars.
He's talking out of his fucking ass.
That is just total bullshit.
No,
what you just said. Dude. You are one of the biggest bullshitters I have ever watched. Is there something? Listen to me. Listen to me carefully. If I show you a picture. If I show you a picture of two female listen to me. Shut up and listen.
I'm gonna have a mute.
If I show you a picture of two doppelgangers, okay, their superficial appearance, okay, their properties and attributes, you might think that there's a concrete unity, right, because of their superficial appearance, their properties and attributes, how they appear to you, how you interpret them. But people who think that those are sisters, that they share the same properties and attributes, they're in the same class, they're in the same class, they don't exist in a class of sisters.
Yes, I already answered this.
So that's why we call them doppelgangers.
I'm waiting for you to finish because I already answered this.
If the particulars have the same properties and attributes,
I know your question.
Are they cosmic doppelgangers?
No, they're not. They have different properties.
I understand. I'm talking about the properties and attributes that they have in common. Now,
I understand what you're saying.
What imposes the same properties and what imposes from the top down that they're in the same class, or if there's nothing that imposes them. Stop over talking me. I'm just about to
I know your question. You've asked it enough times.
You see, listen to me.
This is
why I didn't want to talk with you again.
Stop asking.
Because you're such a horse's ass.
Stop asking. Let me answer.
Are the properties and attributes?
Somebody mute him so I can answer his question.
The properties and attributes. I'm trying to listen. If
Short
you don't
answer.
shut up, that's it. We're going to be done.
Leave. Be done.
Now,
I need to answer the question.
properties
Leave.
and action.
Leave.
Okay, we're done.
Leave.
We're
Leave. Okay, thank you. Applause.
This guy is a total horse's
Shut him up.
ass.
Just mute
Okay,
him so
we're
I can
done.
answer the question.
We're
so I
done.
can answer his question.
Okay.
Just mute him so I can answer his question. All right. So his stupid dumbass question was what is it that unifies the particular properties? It is they all exist. Like they can't all share the same properties because if they did, that would violate Leibniz's law of identity. If it has all the same properties, it's not the same thing. Or it is if it has all the same properties, it is the exact same thing. So the fact that they're different in different places in space and time, that means they don't share all the same properties. So they are particulars that do exist concretely, which is again the consensus in physics and philosophy and every academic field. And Darth Dawkins has no idea what the hell he's saying, which you can tell from all the crap he says about unity and this gibberish nonsense he's made up that means nothing. Clearly, the best evidence for reality is it's probably just physical, matter and motion, and that's it. Could it be idealistic? Yes, it's possible. Could it be dualistic? Yes, but you don't need any of that to know rationality. You can just base rationality off of I think, therefore I am, and that's all you need. You can grind logic and math off of that, and then you can discover about reality. You do not actually need to know what the fundamental nature of reality is to ground rationality. Thank you, and good night.
All right, that's pretty much it. And I want to welcome Lookout for number one. How you doing? Can't hear you, dude.
I'm not.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, now you can speak. Yeah. I'm
absolutely rubbish.
Yeah. Okay, it's like I can listen to that every single day and get some new pleasure out of it. By Darth Dawkins.
It would be weird pleasure, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
Well,
I mean, it's slightly entertaining because it actually pushes the boundary of intellect to the minimum. You know what I mean? To 1 or 0.
Yeah.
Because he goes by a script. He doesn't want to know what the other person says unless it goes in accordance to his script.
Yes.
And it's so fucking obvious that it is borderline childish. Yeah,
I think he's borderline. He's borderline mentally ill.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's borderline mentally ill. I think he's just fucking. He's loony. He's absolutely loony.
But I think the problem I'm seeing here with many atheists is that they're trying to, for debate reasons, I think they're trying to expand it, right? Because this is the equivalent of seeing somebody punching up somebody else. They say, oh, let's see how it gets out. Instead of separating it, right? He carries on with a punch up, with a ping. Listen, you're talking shit. Yeah, speak to like you. If I'm a simple person, like a commoner, like a second, third grade, right? Don't don't weaponize philosophy to push your own BS and trying to portray that you know the fuck what you're talking about. Especially when you say ultimate thing here, ultimate thing there. Shut up. Yeah, you're just making yourself look like a fucking dumb. Yeah. So anyway, how have you been?
I have been just fine, actually. I'm just sending the link up to the to pin it at the top, so people can join in the conversation if they would like.
Right.
Yeah. Darth Dawkins is a malignant narcissist.
Eso suena maravilloso para mí.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got somebody else that speaks Spanish.
What?
Yeah. No. One of your wrenches as well. When you he can speak Spanish. He says something in Spanish. So I say, hold on.
All right, cool. Oh, there we go. There, I see. Okay, I wasn't watching the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Well, malignant narcissist.
Yes.
Narcissist is malignant by default. But
No,
yeah, if you
not
want to
necessarily. No, not necessarily. A malignant narcissist is just one form of a narcissist. There are other.
Okay.
There are other types. There's covert narcissism. There's overt narcissism, and there's lots.
Yeah, but the word narcissist is got like a negative connotation, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter how much level of narcissist is still a fucking narcissist. Yeah, is how he weaponizes his rationale to push an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, vulnerable narcissist. I didn't know that.
Sure.
Vulnerable narcissist.
I'm going to do a show. There's an expert on narcissism, and his name is Professor Sam Vaknin, and I'm going to present a couple of his small little lectures. Well, maybe not so small. He goes in depth about malignant narcissism, and while we watch it and listen to it, keep Darth Dawkins in mind, and he checks every box, every single box. We'll do it as another stream perhaps at some point, but he definitely checks every box.
Yeah, we had to put his face here, and there's some the check boxes.
Yeah, we
about
do that.
what 15, 20 boxes.
Wow, that's
Right?
a good idea.
The more boxes, the more of an asshole he is, or the more of a narcissist.
Yeah. The thing is, the way it works with the DSM is that they have a certain number of criteria that would present as a malignant narcissism, right? And you have to have, I don't know, maybe 3 out of 12 or 6 out of 12. I'm not quite sure. However many however many different traits that they present, you have to have a certain number of them in order to be classified as a malignant narcissist. So we can definitely present them, check off the boxes as he explains them, and then
I'll tell you what,
conclude.
This would be funny. It's actually mega relevant.
What's that?
You can have from the lowest to the lowest to the highest. I mean, from top down, you can start doing the soft narcissist, right? And then when he tops that criteria, then he will say soft narcissist, right? And then when this gentleman is saying more things that is relevant to him, then he becomes a I don't know, medium narcissist. Yeah, we can put some board.
A soft narcissist
basically
is all normal people.
Upgrades.
Right?
Well, he gets an upgrade. That's what I'm saying.
No, you just go straight to what you know, and he's a malignant narcissist. Well, actually, we could do it this way, scientifically. Malignant narcissism has certain traits and attributions. We can take the traits and attributions, apply them to Darth's behavior, and see how many of those checkboxes we can fill. And then we can actually discuss each and every one of those traits that we've checked.
Yeah, that can
and then once we've done that, then we can bring examples from real.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Right. But that you have to do it that in pre-post. Pre.
Hillary's emails has posted a checklist already in the chat. I'm not going to open it up.
Hey, David, how you doing, my man?
Hey, what is Swena? What is Swena in English? Swena.
sounds like. Suena, where's that suena?
Eso suena maravilloso para mí. That sounds wonderful to me. Okay.
That sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah. So Spanish, although I don't speak it, I'm sort of okay to understand some of it in the written form.
So let me save this because it's a fucking good bookmark, this page. Right, so original hair psychopathy checklist. Assessment of
What?
22 item checklist.
22?
Yeah, 22 item checklist of perceived personality traits and observed behaviors. Oh, observed behaviors, that's cool. It is intended to be completed on the basis of a semi-structured interview. You don't need interview. The videos will suffice,
Right.
along with a review of ancillary information. So PCL is called psychopathic checklist. Check. Okay. And then I decided by Canadian hair.
What are you reading? Oh, you're reading?
Yeah, psychopathy. Psychopathy is a neuropsychiatric disorder marked by emotions like empathy and poor behavior control. Oh, that's a posh word of narcissist, or the medical word, or the.
Yeah.
Am I right, or am I?
I don't know.
No, Darth Pool is in a different level. Different level.
Of what are you looking at?
Well, both on the chat, David has said something, and I'm looking at this webpage that he gave us. Superficial charm, yeah. Previous diagnosis as a. Well, we don't know about that. Egocentric, grandiose sense of self. Fuck, yeah. Yeah, so psychopathy. Psychopathy is a neuropsychiatric disorder. So in the fucking brain. Neuropsychopathic disorder. What can I say? Fucked up brain. Marked by a deficiency of emotional responses, lack of empathy, and poor behavioral controls.
I have an idea. Carry on reading, but I have an idea.
Yes. Yeah. So the definition Wikipedia is sometimes considered synonymous with sociopathy. Is categorized by a persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy and remorse, and bold disinhibited and egotistical trait. Yeah, so yeah, an idiot. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've got something here. Okay, I've got a couple of short clips that I'm going to introduce right now, so we can listen to.
Yeah.
My name is Sam Beckman. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love,
Just a quick question, just
Narcissism
slightly
Rebellion.
off topic. Can you use this
Who's
as
the fairest of them all?
in
Asks the
the
Bed Queen.
same way? Well, I don't think so. Than OBS, this meat thingy. Yeah, try sharing. Out of 44 score, really?
In the fairy tale. And having provided the wrong answer, the mirror is smashed to smithereens. This is not a bad allegory for how the narcissist treats his friends. Actually, literature helps us grasp the intricate interactions between the narcissist and members of his social circle. Consider, for instance, Sherlock Holmes and Hercule Poirot. Holmes and Poirot are the world's most renowned fiction detectives. And both of them are quintessential narcissists. Poirot and Holmes are also schizoid. They have few friends, and they are largely confined to their homes, engaged in solitary activities. Both detectives have fatuous, sluggish, and anodyne sidekicks who slavishly cater to their whims and needs and provide them with an adulating gallery. Holmes has Dr. Watson, and Poirot makes do with poor Hastings. Both Holmes and Poirot assiduously avoid the competition. They avoid sharp minds who seek their company for a fertilizing intellectual exchange among equals. They do not like equals. They feel threatened by the potential need to admit to ignorance and to confess to error. Both gumshoes are self-sufficient, and both consider themselves peerless and superior. The Watsons and Hastings of this world provide the narcissist with an obsequious, unthreatening audience, and with a kind of unconditional and unthinking obedience that confirms to him his own omnipotence. Hastings and Watson are sufficiently vacuous to make the narcissist look sharp and omniscient, but on the other hand, they are not so asinine as to be instantly discernible as idiots. They are the perfect backdrop, never likely to attain certain center stage, and never overshadowing their masters. Moreover, both Holmes and Poirot sadistically and often publicly taunt and humiliate their Sancho Panzas, explicitly chastising them for being dim-witted in front of others in public. Narcissism and sadism are psychodynamic cousins, and both Watson and Hastings are perfect victims of abuse. They are docile, they are understanding, they are malignantly optimistic, they are self-deluding, and they are idolizing. Perfect friends for the narcissist. Narcissists cannot empathize or love, and therefore have no friends, no real ones at least. The narcissist is one-track minded. He is interested in securing narcissistic supply from narcissistic supply sources. That's it, period. He is not interested in people as such. He is incapable of empathizing, he is a solipsist, and he recognizes only himself as human. To the narcissist, all other people are three-dimensional cartoons. They are tools. They are instruments in the tedious and Sisyphean task of generating and consuming narcissistic supply. The narcissist overvalues people when they are judged to be potential sources of supply, of attention, for instance. He uses them, and having used them, he devalues them when no longer able to supply him, and he discards them nonchalantly. This behavior pattern tends to alienate and distance people. So the narcissist remains finally lonely and isolated. Gradually, the social circle of the narcissist dwindles and ultimately vanishes. People around the narcissist who are not turned off by the ugly succession of his acts and attitudes are rendered desperate and fatigued by the turbulent nature of his life. The narcissist especially resents his benefactors and sponsors, because they remind him of his inferiority, his neediness, and his helplessness. Diderot, the 18th century French encyclopedist, wrote, "Rousseau is a monster. He said he hated all those he had risen to be grateful to, and he has proved it." Rousseau, of course, was a prime narcissist. He had a series of benefactors, mainly ladies, and without a single exception, he devalued them and discarded them when they reached the end of their useful life. Those few who still remain loyal to the narcissist gradually abandon him because they can no longer withstand and tolerate the ups and downs of his careers, his moods, the confrontations and conflicts with authority, his chaotic financial state, and the dissolution of his emotional affairs. This is very taxing and energy consuming. The narcissist is a human roller coaster, fun for a limited time, nauseating in the long run.
Oh my God, how true was that?
I just filled in.
Yeah, oh good, good.
Like very preliminary.
All right.
Yeah, and Hilary's got more than me. He scored him 37.
Yeah.
Right, I got him at 35.
Out of?
Which is out of 44, which is high because some of the information I don't know. So, yeah.
There's another word for malignant narcissist I just found. Guess what it is?
Dawkins.
No, I'm going to play it. You ready? I want to share it. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but I find it funny. All right, hold on a sec. We can listen to this a bit as well. Maybe it's hilarious. Look at the title of it.
Sunday morning with Jim Mora.
No, look at the title of the YouTube title.
Oh, it's like Malignant Narcissist, Best of Both Worlds with Jim Mora. Okay.
Oh, maybe you can't see the whole thing. But anyway, doesn't matter. You can't see it. But no, we can listen to it.
We can see the.
But we can listen to it. So if I can find the fucking play button, we can listen to it.
Above the P.
There it is. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, recording in progress. It's the only place in the world there's progress.
Right, let's set sail, shall we?
Absolutely. I'm at your disposal. Apologies for the hassle.
No, not at all. It was easy. It was easy for Jordan. Dr. Sam Vaknin, hello to you.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. So late in the day.
Thank you for coming on. When were you first diagnosed a narcissist? Can you tell us?
I was diagnosed twice in the span of 10 years by two different psychologists or diagnosticians. So it's a pretty safe diagnosis, I would say. But I hope this conversation is going to revolve around the disorder rather than me.
Yes, but we'll do it bit by bit. So the diagnosis for all of us, Sam, how to spot them, people like you, if you like. What are the signs, please, if you wouldn't mind?
Well, it's not so much self-centeredness as you would tend to believe. I mean, narcissism is associated erroneously with egoticism, being egoistic. It's more to do with a desperate attempt to obtain attention, positive attention or negative attention, in order to regulate the internal landscape of the narcissist. The narcissist needs you to pay attention to him. He needs to be seen in order to stabilize himself, stabilize his sense of self-worth, stabilize his self-esteem,
There's a video.
and so on and so forth.
There's a video of Darth Dawkins saying, "I bring people to
the second thing
to
is
the server."
the asymmetry. The narcissist is interested in himself.
He was getting banned, or he was getting his mods refused.
Yeah.
Right, because he was being trolled by other admins.
Yeah.
Right, so he went to this guy Dubia, or one of them idiots, right? And he says, I bring a lot of attraction, this, that, and the other. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that he's nailing it. That is the type of narcissist that he needs his shit. Yeah, I think it's like a drug for him, right?
Mm.
And then you see the green flies hitting him.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on.
Carry on? Yes, sir. Okay.
Himself much more than he's interested in you. He's a bad listener. He would tend to veer the conversation back to himself. The third sign is that he lacks empathy.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him something about yourself, it's harrowing and it's sad, and he doesn't flinch. He doesn't react. We call it reduced affect display. He has no display of emotions or affect when he should have. The fourth sign is that he tries to exploit you somehow. He tries to take something from you. The narcissist world is very transactional, and he would discard you on a dime if he reaches the conclusion that you have nothing to give him. And the currency the narcissist seeks, as opposed to the psychopath, for example, is narcissistic supply. Attention, adulation, admiration. Absent this, infamy, being feared. The psychopath
being blocked.
And it's very important to distinguish a narcissist from the psychopath. The psychopath doesn't care about other people. He doesn't need other people. He does not depend on other people to regulate his sense of self-worth and his self-perception and self-image. The narcissist has an inflated, grandiose self-image, which he needs to maintain with input from other people. The psychopath doesn't. And the psychopath is goal-oriented. He wants money, he wants sex, he wants contacts and connections, he wants power, etc., etc. So I could say that the psychopath is a caricature of a normal human being. It's a normal human being writ large, gone awry. While the narcissist is a void, an emptiness, an absence. Not, in many respects, not human at all. And that's not me saying this. That's the father of the field, Otto Kernberg.
I was reading the list of characteristics, some of which you've described, common to narcissists, Sam, and I thought, I know people like this who are nevertheless good deep down. They may act narcissistically, crave attention, hate to be questioned, want to be right, but they might also protect their children. They wouldn't steal. They're loyal to their friends. So what are they? Are they also narcissistic-like people?
They're not narcissists. It's an excellent question. The word narcissist has been devalued, has been depreciated, is bandied around erroneously, applied to people, used to label and castigate people and insult people and so on. Narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, is a clinical entity. It's a disease, exactly like COVID-19 or tuberculosis. It's a disease, and it has to be diagnosed very carefully. It's usually a series of tests that take a few hours and then take a few days to interpret. Structured interviews, talking to...
What?
COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Dawkins is equal to COVID, basically. That's what he's saying. Yeah, same bad thing.
Mm.
Friends and family of the narcissist. And
Yeah,
so on
he's
so
saying that
but we do have, there is
the
something
malignant
called...
narcissist is that.
Fuck, what have I done?
How do we go?
Hold on.
Go back.
No, I'm just going to go to my history and start it again, that's all.
Disease, exactly
Oh, there we go. It's back.
like COVID-19 or tuberculosis. It's a disease, and it has to
There
be
you are.
diagnosed very carefully. It's usually a series of tests that take a few hours and then take a few days to interpret. Structured interviews, talking to friends and family of the narcissist, and so on and so forth. But there is something called narcissistic style or narcissistic personality without the disorder. That's been first described by a famous psychologist by the name of Len Sperry. Len Sperry and later Theodore Millen described people who have narcissistic traits, they have narcissistic behaviors, they tend to react with narcissistic defenses, and yet they are not full-fledged narcissists. You're right, they have a good core, they are pro-social, they are communal, they have families, their lives are stable more or less, they have a career, they pursue goals in the socially acceptable way, they sublimate, etc., etc. These are not narcissists. These are, I don't know, a-holes, or they could be very hypersensitive to rejection and criticism, or what have you, but they're not narcissists. Narcissistic personality disorder is a pernicious, dangerous alteration in the personality of the patient in early childhood. The inability to complete certain critical psychological processes, and consequently, the narcissist is a half-baked human being. It's not complete. It's an incomplete human being, and the narcissist is dangerous because of this, because he's unable to perceive other
Incomplete
people
human.
as human beings. He doesn't have the tools. He doesn't read cues properly, and he regards other people as avatars, as extensions of himself, as instruments. He functionalizes them, he instrumentalizes them, he objectifies them. And people with narcissistic style don't do this. They may be unpleasant, they may be reactive, they may be defiant, but they don't objectify you, or they don't ignore you, your needs, the very fact that you're separate from them, your wishes, preferences, your emotions. They don't do this, people with narcissistic style.
I know you don't want to talk about yourself, but aspects of you must be germane. I've seen your YouTube channel, and you have a very charming persona. So narcissists, in order to succeed with other people, must, like sociopaths and psychopaths sometimes, have great charm attached, surely.
Narcissists are far less charming than psychopaths. Sociopath, by the way, is not a clinical word. It's a media type word. It has no clinical meaning. Psychopath, even psychopath, it's a disputed label, very disputed. For example, you won't find the word psychopath in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. There's a lot of debate as to what is what and who is who. Charm is more typical of the psychopath. The psychopath uses charm offensive because he's goal-oriented. And I'm saying he because majority of psychopaths are men, they're male. So the narcissist is much more akin to an autistic person. He is so into himself, he's so buried in his mind, that he tends to confuse external reality with internal reality. He appears to be very clueless. He appears to stumble about. He becomes coercive, and then he becomes malleable and mellifluous. He shifts between behaviors which are socially acceptable and behaviors that are utterly unacceptable, antisocial. So the narcissist reminds me very much of Frankenstein's creation, kind of a golem who kind of stumbles through life, attempting to extract by any means a narcissistic supply from people. Now, people tend to confuse narcissists with psychopaths, very much so.
Yeah.
And the reason they tend to do this is because there is a subset, a subgroup, subtype of narcissists known as psychopathic narcissists or malignant narcissists. These are the narcissists that reach the headlines. These are the narcissists that...
Okay, I just wanted to say that he said psychopathic narcissist or malignant narcissist. So psychopathic narcissist and malignant narcissist are one and the same.
Or incur or inflict the most damage. These are the visible narcissists. That's the tip of the iceberg. And because they are both narcissists and psychopaths, we call it comorbidity. When the two disorders exist in the same person, that creates a lot of confusion. Because people tend to look to celebrities and famous people as examples, for examples. Or they tend to look at their own environment and they tend to impute certain traits and qualities to narcissists because they came across a psychopathic narcissist. Narcissism is a stealth, subterranean phenomenon. The typical narcissist is a junkie, is an addict, preoccupied 100% with his next fix of narcissistic supply. He doesn't have time to be charming or anything else for that matter. He doesn't have time to fulfill social roles, to be a husband, to be a lover, to be an intimate partner, to be a good worker, and so on. He's a junkie, simply. He's just into obtaining supply by any means possible. And so charm may come into it if it works, but it's absolutely not necessary. And even I would say not common. Narcissists are not charming, they're obnoxious, they're repulsive. But psychopaths are charming, you're right. And because it seems to concern you, you're very concerned with placing me somehow. I'm a psychopathic narcissist, not a narcissist. I've been diagnosed with both disorders.
Right, I'm glad we've nailed that down. And so when most of us talk about narcissism, we actually mean psychopathic narcissism, yes, whether we were aware of that or not.
Exactly, yes. True. The narcissist that you see, the celebrity narcissist, the politician narcissist, the serial killer narcissist, the narcissist at your workplace who make your life hell, these are all psychopathic narcissists. And they're usually goal-oriented. They're usually very good at obtaining their goals, at attaining the accomplishments they seek. They are very charming. They can put on a facade. They're very misleading. They are not prone to fantasy. The narcissism is a fantasy defense. The narcissist inhabits a la-la land of fantasy, and he cannot tell the difference between his fantasy and reality. For example, he's grandiose. He perceives himself as godlike, and he's delusional about this. He cannot be convinced otherwise. And so the narcissists you come across are typically psychopathic narcissists, yes.
How big a subset of narcissism is psychopathic narcissism then? Because that's what we're mostly aware of.
Not only I cannot give you an answer to this, I cannot even tell you how many narcissists there are. There's a huge debate as to the prevalence and incidence of narcissistic personality disorder in society. So the numbers go anywhere from 1.6% in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual,
Apologies.
Edition 5 text revision, which was published a few weeks ago, anywhere from this, to studies that show that narcissistic personality disorder is diagnosable or diagnosed in 3 to 6% of the population. There's a complete disagreement about this. And also there's a disagreement as to the percentage of these narcissists who are comorbid, in other words, who have other mental health disorders, such as, for example, borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, psychopathy, and even mood disorders like depression or substance abuse disorder. There are no statistics, but I can tell you this. Over the last 26 years, I've constructed a database of 1,910 now, this morning, 1,910 people diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder by a qualified diagnostician. They respond to a questionnaire of 638 questions. It's a version of the MMPI. It's a test, a common test. They respond to this questionnaire, and then annually, those of them who collaborate, not all of them do, annually they respond to a follow-up test. So I have a pretty unique database. I'm negotiating now to hand it over to a university. I have a unique database of narcissists, the largest in the world by far. And I would say, based on my database, which, mind you, even so is very small, I would say, based on my database, 3 to 5% are psychopathic narcissists. And the prevalence of narcissistic personality disorder in society at large would be between 2 and 3%. I think these are the correct figures.
So you're describing a class of people who are essentially miserable and vulnerable in all sorts of ways. I think in your case,
Sydney has gone
this
to take the
aspect of
dogs.
your personality,
Okay.
although
Who
you
let
are
the
a
dog out?
psychopathic narcissist, this affected your relationships. Can narcissists have successful relationships?
No. That's
Of course
a
not.
very
Don't be
long
silly.
What?
question and a very short answer.
Can a narcissist have a good
Narcissists
relationship?
Yes, I'm a
narcissists
narcissist and
cannot
I have a
any kind
very
of relationships, not
long
only intimate
relationship.
relationships.
Yeah,
How
with
can you have
yourself.
a relationship
No, I have.
if you don't perceive the
I'm
existence
over
of other
30
people,
years
if you're
old.
solipsistic,
Years
if you're
married.
buried in your mind, if you have no ability to conceptualize the existence of other minds, in other words, no ability to construct what we call a theory of mind, how can you have relationships with other people if you can't do intimacy because you don't have empathy? If you have no
And
interest
maybe
in
I
other
have a
people
different,
because you're too
Different
preoccupied
level.
with the
a different
maintenance of the
definition of what
precarious
narcissism is.
house of cards that passes
But
for your
mine is
personality.
of course right.
How can you have a relationship, a functional relationship with other people?
This one he's
If
talking about malignant.
your sense of self-worth
The upper.
fluctuates wildly, and you are subjected to problems in self-perception, self-image. You have an impaired reality testing. You perceive reality totally wrongly.
This
You're
is the guy from
delusional.
Israel, or isn't
How
he?
can you be in contact with other people or maintain a relationship with other people if you are in the throes of mood swings and mostly depression throughout your life when you are
No, I'm
unable
not
to
in
obtain
depression.
supply? How your narcissists
Okay,
are
can you just pause
exploitative.
it? Come down.
Welcome.
Yeah, hi Sydney.
Hi.
So the thing is, so if he's talking about narcissists, right? So I have to admit, I didn't look it up. Like I didn't look up what the definition is, because yeah.
Well, he's been talking for 17 minutes.
So the thing is, where I know this term from, because I have something to do or used to study art and stuff, right? And there was a picture from Salvatore Dali, which is called The Narcissist. And it tells you it's about a Greek story. The guy is walking through the alley, and there is a river or a lake. He sits down, looks into his mirror picture, and is falling in love with it and remain there forever. Right? So, and this is what describes for me the narcissist. He's like in love with himself.
Yeah, well, if you'd have been listening from the beginning, you would have heard exactly that.
Yeah?
Yes.
So yeah, I was proven right as usual. I mean, it was proven that I'm right as usual. Yeah, okay. Because this guy said those guys cannot have.
I know, but the thing is, we've been listening straight for 17 minutes. And all of the stuff.
Let the dog out.
I know, but I didn't stop the stream. And all of those topics were covered in the fifth. So let's just wait until the end or something.
Okay.
Because if you're going to just bring up stuff that we've already heard, then it's just repetition. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
They are transactional. It's a give and take operation. They discard other people because people to them are commodities. They're interchangeable. They are sources of supply. The narcissist seeks looks for three, what I call the four S's. That is sex, safety, supply, sadistic or narcissistic, and services. And if you provide the narcissist with two out of the four S's, you're in regardless of who you are. Who you are doesn't matter to the narcissist.
Exactly.
What matters is, can you provide the goods? It's a little like having a relationship with an internet service provider, more or less. And so it's all, the narcissist is distinct from the psychopath. The narcissist is far less embedded in reality. And you're right that the narcissist is constantly miserable in a state of dysphoria. Now this used to be disputed until about 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Many people, including many scholars, were saying, no, the narcissist is happy-go-lucky. The narcissist is self-assured and has enormous self-confidence and what have you. But today we know this is not true. The recent iteration of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual describes someone who falls prey constantly to depression, who is critically and addictively dependent on input from other people. The narcissist is pro-social, not like the psychopath. The psychopath is antisocial. The psychopath is defiant, in your face, couldn't care less. He devalues you because he holds you in contempt. He is reckless. He is reactant. He is contumacious. He needs authority. That's the psychopath. The narcissist depends on you. He needs you. The narcissist needs you to tell him how great he is, what a genius he is, how amazingly handsome and drop-dead gorgeous he is, etc., etc. You are the narcissist pusher, and he's a junkie. He needs your drug. So narcissists are actually pro-social. Now, you mentioned a very critical word. You mentioned the word vulnerable. Again, until the end of the 1980s, there was this misperception or misconception of narcissists as ego-syntonic. In other words, as comfortable in their own skins, as daring-do, as entrepreneurial, as risk-takers, as novelty seekers, as, you know, there was this misperception of the narcissist as a psychopath, in effect. And then in the late 1980s, two scholars by the name of Akhtar and Cooper came up with a description of the covert narcissist, or the vulnerable, fragile, shy narcissist. And today we begin to believe that the narcissist who is overt, daring-do, courageous, takes on the world, in your face, Donald Trump type, that's not a narcissist actually. That's probably a psychopath. And that the only real narcissist is what used to be called a covert or vulnerable narcissist. It's a narcissist who is very insecure, very passive-aggressive, very fragile and weak, very vulnerable. A narcissist who is hiding, a narcissist who is in concealment, a narcissist who leverages and uses other people, for example, uses psychopaths to obtain supply, etc., etc. In other words, we believe that the only real type of narcissist is a compensatory narcissist. A narcissist who deep inside has an inferiority complex, believes himself to be inadequate and deficient, is ashamed, driven by shame, and compensates for these by presenting a facade of grandiosity, imperturbability, sang-froid, a facade of see if I care, I'm untouchable, I'm superior, you're all inferior to me, etc. But that's a facade, and easily crackable, easily broken with any hint of disagreement, of criticism, of failure, of defeat. Narcissism is reconceived now as a post-traumatic condition, and trauma always induces a lot of shame and guilt, and these don't go away. Narcissism can be easily described as a prolonged grief syndrome. It's a child who's been abused, who's been traumatized in numerous ways, and then this child grieves what could have been, grieves the lost potential, grieves the absent self-actualization. It's a child in grief, a traumatized child in grief. That's the closest you can get to understanding the narcissist. And there's nothing to do with the psychopath. Psychopath is not like this. It's a totally different thing.
We're talking with Dr. Sam Vaknin. It would seem hard to arrive or assemble the facade of grandiosity. It seems that the narcissists you're describing wouldn't get the reassurances and compliments they so desperately need, because you're talking about people who sound like they're the leeches on society, maybe the mentally unwell, addicts, criminals, unemployables, a kind of subclass, really, Sam.
No, that would be psychopaths, actually. There is a subtype of psychopath known as factor 1 psychopaths, who end up the way you have just described. The typical narcissist is internally insecure, feels inadequate and inferior, a lot of shame, some guilt, vulnerability, is very vulnerable to any hint of criticism and disagreement, but has a lot of bombast and braggadocio, and he boasts, is boastful. He presents a facade of invulnerability and grandiosity. He tends to impute to himself accomplishments which are incommensurate with real life, with his efforts and work. He tends to regard himself as much more important than other people. So if he works in a team, he would attribute to himself the accomplishments of the entire team, etc., etc. So he goes about presenting what we call the false self. It's a concoction.
Understand.
It's a concoction. It's a narrative. It's a piece
So
of
that person, I understand. So that person would not achieve, though, like a psychopath in business or politics or other arenas. That person is too vulnerable, to use that word again, to achieve properly.
Indeed, we are beginning to realize that the vast majority of narcissists are prone to disappointment and consequently to depression and so on and so forth. The new description there is in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the text revision published a few weeks ago, there's something called the alternative model of narcissistic personality disorder. And when you read this alternative model, you get the picture that I am describing and you are encapsulating well. A failure. Someone who attempts to be a psychopath, but fails. Narcissism can easily be described as failed psychopathy. It's someone who wants to garner recognition, attention, adulation, admiration, keeps trying by presenting a false self, a fake facade, but keeps failing. Because he keeps failing, he's in a state of depression, dysphoria, disappointment, and so on. This is the narcissist's life, actually.
Is narcissism treatable?
No. Narcissism is not treatable because it is not an add-on to the personality. It's not a plug-in. It is the personality. The entire personality
Dawkins,
is
you
deformed
fucked.
in early childhood. And so what can be done is some behaviors, abrasive behaviors,
Life is a
social
bitch.
behaviors, autistic behaviors, if you wish, lack of responsiveness to social and sexual cues and so on. These can be modified and taught. So the narcissist can acquire better tools to cope with his environment. And the narcissist can learn to behave in ways which are more socially commendable and acceptable. But the core of narcissism is untouchable. I've developed a new treatment modality, it's called cold therapy, which seems to have a positive effect on the narcissist's need for narcissistic supply, on the narcissist's false self and grandiosity. But it does nothing else. Even this therapy, which is seriously, it's nuclear weapon. I re-traumatize the narcissist. Even this therapy has very, very limited and honestly pretty disappointing outcomes. The rest is untouchable. The lack of empathy, the inability to conceive of the existence of other people, the confusion between the external world, reality, and the internal world, which is essentially psychotic. It sounds a lot like psychosis. The exploitativeness, the rapaciousness, the predatory nature of the narcissist. Luckily, the narcissist seeks only supply, but he is still as predatory as the psychopath when it comes to obtaining supply. The inability to maintain long-term interpersonal relationships.
I don't see something that he said that he's not.
The borderline.
What?
Whatever he said, sorry, amongst the many things that he said, I have not heard something that said, no, I've talked like that.
Exactly, because he's an extreme case.
Yes.
So all these are cannot be touched, let alone modified.
Are social media creating more narcissists, making society more narcissistic, or is it just amplifying narcissistic seeming traits, Sam?
Well, social media, to start with, bring out narcissists. It's a way for narcissists to obtain supply, in a way which is devoid of most of the risks.
To put Darth Dawkins in neons.
These narcissists are ill-equipped for intimate face-to-face interaction, or non-intimate face-to-face interaction. They're ill-equipped to deal with real-life humans. And so social media allows the narcissist to leverage his best aspects, for example, his intellect, if he has one, or his body, if he uses his body to obtain supply. We make a distinction between cerebral narcissists. It's a narcissist who leverages his intellect and intelligence to obtain supply, and somatic narcissist who uses his body to obtain supply. But both do well on social media without the attendant risks. So social media brings out of the woodwork the narcissist. That's one thing. Second thing, social media is narcissistic by definition. So it brings out the narcissistic aspects. Clinically speaking, it's called narcissistic defenses. It brings out the narcissistic aspects of otherwise totally healthy people. And yes, it would tend to reward and enhance these aspects. In other words, if I had to summarize in one sentence, might be too late for this, but I'll try. Social media enhance and encourage the formation of narcissistic styles or narcissistic style in users. So users would tend to adopt a narcissistic style, but that doesn't make them narcissists. So social media has no impact, clinical impact, cannot have, because narcissism forms in very early childhood.
Correct.
Narcissists would presumably haunt the dating sites because they can get their needs seemingly met without necessarily giving themselves away initially in face-to-face encounters. You'd meet a lot of narcissists
really, he's got his mother
on dating apps.
Yes, we don't have statistics, but it stands to reason that narcissists would gravitate to dating apps, social media, and certain professions, by the way. For example, we do know that among surgeons, doctors, medical doctors who are surgeons, there's a higher preponderance of psychopaths than in the general population. Similarly, there's a higher preponderance of psychopaths and narcissists among chief executive officers in the corporate world. These are studies by Robert Hare and Babiak. And so it stands to reason that narcissists would gravitate as water does when it's given a channel. They gravitate to dating apps. That renders dating apps seriously dangerous, because I think dating apps are infested with narcissists and psychopaths. And whereas narcissists have a problem putting on a facade for long, because their grandiosity takes over, they feel challenged. Whenever they're criticized or you disagree with them, the mask falls and they show their true face. A narcissist can hold a facade for a few minutes, but a psychopath can hold a facade in the long term. So psychopaths, for example, gaslight you, which means challenge your perception of reality in a very convincing manner. Psychopaths future fake. They make false promises about the future to vulnerable women, for example. And so they are dangerous types. What the narcissist does which is also extremely dangerous. The narcissist develops something called the shared fantasy. He would offer you, if he deems you a source of supply or a potential intimate partner, he would offer you a fantasy of togetherness, a fantasy where both of you are idealized and both of you inhabit a land which is the land of perfection, where everything is easy and everything is wonderful and it lasts forever. It's irresistible, an irresistible proposition. So both narcissists and psychopaths offer you a future and then renege. They just go away and you're left heartbroken and sometimes moneyless, penniless. The psychopaths would tend to take your money as well. And dating apps are major vectors of the transmission of these two viruses, psychopathy and narcissism.
And there are a lot of the people doing the ghosting on the dating apps. 1 minute you know them, the next minute they're gone.
Yeah, ghosting, breadcrumbing, all these techniques, they are very typical, for example, of psychopaths. Psychopaths, I don't know, psychopaths sold you, you're a vulnerable woman, the psychopath sold you a common future. It's called future faking. You gave him your money, and of course he would ghost you after. People generally on dating apps, and people generally on the internet, not only dating apps, because of the anonymity that the internet affords. And anonymity is not divulging your name. Anonymity simply means that you have not been in an intimate interaction with another person. So there's anonymity, even if I know your name. Here we are talking right now, but you're still anonymous to me, and I'm anonymous to you. So this cover of anonymity allows people to behave in ways that which they would never contemplate in real life situations. The internet radicalizes behavior, causes people to escalate. The internet makes people a lot more aggressive and competitive. The internet pushes people to behave in narcissistic and psychopathic ways, even if they are totally not in real life, even if they're totally healthy and balanced and stable in real life, because the internet is constructed in a way which rewards aggression, brevity, lack of discourse or lack of proper argumentation and debate, suppression of critical thinking, immediate gratification. These are all narcissistic and psychopathic traits. And so the internet and all within the internet is a narcissistic psychopathic environment. You have to adapt. You have to adapt by becoming more of these two, narcissists and psychopaths.
Okay. You mentioned your cold therapy before, and you say you're a psychopathic narcissist. In Israel, back in 1995, you were found guilty with some other men of securities fraud, and you ended up in jail. But it was also a blessing in disguise for you, wasn't it?
There was no disguise. It was a blessing, unmitigated one. It allowed me to...
Yeah.
Yes, please, go ahead.
To get diagnosed.
I was diagnosed before, but for the first time, I came across the fact that whatever it is that I have is destroying my life. And so typically for me, because prior to that, I've been a physicist, and so I'm into intellectual endeavor from age 9. I started to attend university at age 9. So typically, I took on the challenge, and I started to study personality pathology, and then cluster B, and then narcissism. There was nothing at that time. It was 1995. There was nothing online. My website about narcissistic personality disorder was the first website on this topic and the only one for 9 years. All 6 support groups for victims of narcissism.
The stream, hold on a minute.
Yeah, you should be able to stream the stream.
Yeah.
But you're still doing that, you know what I mean? You're still putting too much pressure on your internet service provider.
Right.
Or your bandwidth.
I'll just turn my camera off or something.
Well, yeah, I could do that. Fuck for that.
Let's see if it works. What the fuck? Okay, I'm getting an excellent connection.
Right, okay.
But I don't see it actually connecting on the YouTube.
Yeah, you are connected. You are transmitting.
Right on. Okay, I'm just going to let Sam carry on.
No.
Yeah, that's closer to reality. I am much more in self-control than I used to be because I didn't.
Too much pressure, and the bucket is OBS, and it cannot empty enough fast enough, i.e. upload it to YouTube, to be able for you to do a continuous stream.
You
So
think?
OBS has to simplify the bandwidth, simplify the amount of data that is sent to YouTube.
Yeah. All right, so maybe you should be receiving something now? Because at least I want to get through this this interview with Sam.
Yeah, go on, press play. It is streaming.
It's streaming, okay.
Many more rewards than not helping people. So I've chosen to help people, and I've chosen to be honest, and I've chosen to be an academic. I'm a professor of psychology
Okay.
in several universities and so on. I've chosen all these strategies and so on because they work. They work.
Yes.
Not because of any shift in values or beliefs or any sudden evolution of morality or none of this. It's simply self-efficacious.
But inside, are you as doomed as you always were? I mean, are you happily enough married now? Are you happier with your life? You seem to project confidence and contentment, but does that exist?
Confidence, yes. Contentment comes as a surprise. I've always been confident. I have 190 IQ and 3 separate tests over 30 years, so probably it's true. 190 IQ does endow you with a certain
Fucking
intelligence,
narcissist.
and that's not grandiose.
Arrogant cunt.
So I've always
What
been
a son.
extremely self-confident. I trust my intellect to provide solutions to the problems that my personality poses. So there's a battle between my intellect and my personality. But my personality is immutable, or my personality pathology is immutable. Cannot be touched or changed or modified in any way, shape, or form. The only thing you can do, or I could do, is superimpose a veneer of social acceptability and socially commendable activities, which is
Therefore,
what I'm
you're changing
doing. But the conflict between the absence that I am and the presence that I wish I were, this conflict is still ongoing. I was denied as a child. I was not allowed to become. So I never became. I remained a promise or a dream. And I'm an unfulfilled one. So
I understand that.
Sorry?
But if your personality, I understand what you're saying, but if your personality is immutable, then why, I can see that you're clever enough to have seen the error of your ways and use a new modus operandi, but why should you now care about the more hopeless and hapless narcissists among us? I can see that you can describe them very well, and you've built up the big database, but do you really care about them?
No, I care about no one. Narcissists or not. I'm incapable of caring. I'm incapable of positive emotions. Narcissists, even not psychopathic, regular narcissists, are incapable of accessing positive emotions. They're capable of accessing negative affectivity. In other words, envy, anger. But they are not capable of accessing any positive emotion. Caring, love. I mean, none of this is accessible to the narcissist.
So where is the hope in your life then? Where is there none?
Hope, I regard hope as hopium, as a junkie's drug, no less pernicious than narcissistic supply. Hope is used to manipulate and socially control the masses. It's false, it's counterfactual, and I try to avoid it to the best of my ability.
I mean,
but you want to stay alive and succeed, though.
Stop it.
I am alive.
I can kind of confirm it. So
you confirm it. I agree with it.
Yes, because I told you I'm a narcissist, right? So
Yeah,
I'm totally
okay.
aware. And I'm not. I fear not to tell people the truth, because it's something like he's saying, right? I don't care about other people's opinions, and I'm not afraid.
Correct.
To telling you the truth. I will not hide it. And
but Peter, hold on. Fine, I understand what you're saying. Not that I accept it, I just understand it. But
we are dickheads. I that's true. But
no, I didn't mean to insult. What I'm saying is the other way around.
Yeah.
If you want to portray a wanted behavior, such as me, myself, and I, the same way you care, why should we care about your behavior, about your interaction? Right?
No, you should not. And I mean,
right.
No, it's at the end, I'm expecting from everybody else that they behave the same way I do. I mean, there is a small difference between him and me because I'm capable of having relationships, right? So I'm not kind of lost.
Yeah, but you probably cherry picking or softening one of your positions.
I'm just doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing it because I have fun. So, but he has this miserable side to it, right? He's saying those guys.
You can see it. That's why he's got grey hair.
Well, he's also in his 70s.
And I don't have hair, right? What is worse, right? But yeah, the thing is, there must be some stages of it. But in like 80%, what he's saying is describing me, I would say.
Okay.
And so his checklist, he made those 4 points. I cannot now repeat them. What is important for a narcissist? Oh, those checkpoints are really, really close to me, right? But yeah.
But we don't care at the end of the day.
Yeah. And you shouldn't. Because at the end, I will not care about the opinion of others. That's why you should not care. I will tell you that, right? And it's great. And if everybody will just care about himself, they'll be taking care of everybody. That's my opinion. If you take care of yourself and everybody will do it, then we'll have taken care of everybody.
No, not really, because if us three take care of ourselves and we don't care simultaneously about what you two fuckers care, I'm being sarcastic, then there's a wall, is a visceral, malignant wall that divides us.
Yeah.
It's me, myself, and I, you, yourself, and yourself, and he is with himself.
I told you there is a small difference. So in fact, I care about other people, and so if there's a team, like he said, if there's a team, he'll pretend to he made the work of the team. So this is where I'm different, right? I'll push other people to say, oh, this is his work, right? Even if I have a team leader or something and go to my boss and he will say, oh, Pio, you did good. And I will tell, no, I did. It was not me. It was my team. So this is where
that's then fine. I understand that. So then you got a some sort of narcissism, but you are capable of lowering your bar. That's what I was saying before.
No,
you're flexible. Yeah.
No, I don't like to lie. So because you're saying that
you lie.
The narcissist will lie or create a word, and like a bubble.
Yeah.
Where he is like living, and he will project it to other people too, right? And this is what I'm not doing. Telling people, yeah, I'm the greatest, whatever, right? But I'm not. If there are good people, and they are making their job or standing by themselves, I will not deny it, or there will be no need for me to say I've done it. Because why?
Well, I mean, listen, it could be even a part of narcissistic that if you're part of a team, it would be detrimental to say, I did it when it was a collaboration between more than one.
Yes, but
you will be called out.
Yes, and there are other people who are not narcissists, and they are doing it. Those, which I called ass lickers. They would say, "Yeah,
oh, that's different." Yeah, that's a different ballgame. Yeah.
So they will tell the boss for sure, "Yes, I did it." Right? No. So I don't need that because I don't need the approval if I know I made a good job. This is where my narcissism is going, right? I don't need the approval from other people because I know what I've done, and everybody else, if he's not agreeing to me, he just doesn't know. This is where I'm not. So I cannot be kind of.
You see, but if you're capable of accepting, that makes you humble. So.
Yeah.
Humble is not a concept.
Yeah, no, humble is not a concept. I'm always like, even if sometimes I'm usually not acting like this, but in my mind, I'm the greatest man alive.
Hey, do you deal with the or what's your field? What's your field expertise?
So I'm at the moment working as a graphic designer,
right?
And before that, I had another job. But before that, I was like a boss, also of a graphic design team, public relations and stuff like that.
I need sorry, my apologies. I didn't want to poke too much. So
my expertise, just making funny pictures. That's
fine. No, because I just passed a course of something, and it involves formulas in calculations, right? To me, in my new role as whatever I'm doing, I need to work out something either in Excel or via an app, i.e. Android app or whatever, right? And is me putting data in three data. I'm inputting data about 3 different type of data: tonnage, weight, length in meters, and the pressure in kilonewtons. But at the end of the day, everything is in formulas. So it doesn't matter what it is; it's just numbers that I need to put. And what it spews out, or what it puts out, that I need that on a report. Right, so I can produce a comprehensive report. It's not fucking pages; it's just 4 pages of information with about 9, 10, 11 formulas, and all of them are interactive for different things. Right? Actually, it's for the field that I do. Don't even make the field I do. Now I need to for other people that do the job that I do, I'm qualified to I just passed the test, so I'm qualified to redact something for that person to be lawfully able to do it safely, basically, if that makes any sense, right? So I can do in Excel. I have used Excel. I've used formulas. But I have not sat down properly. I'm not not fluent. I'm okay. Yeah, but I would like to have the backing of somebody. Yeah, to confirm that what I'm doing is correct, because it's fucking really dangerous if I fuck up a number. That's how precise it is. Yeah, because it's all based on you do what I say. Otherwise, there's an accident. But if I put the wrong number or the wrong information, then the accident is 100% confirmed. Whatever the operative does, it would be an accident, and I want to avoid that. And in the organization that I took the exam from, they want a membership, but it's really expensive. So I want to make my own a template Yeah, where I can start making inputs and then print it out and then start from scratch. I erasing that information and start from zero. Yeah, just clearing the page.
Okay, so what is your question? Can I help? Shall I help you with, because Excel and mathematics, unless it's like calculus, right?
No, it's not calculus. No, it's not calculus.
I can do, because I used to also be a programmer.
Right.
Like not in fancy stuff like Pascal and Basic and shit like that. But you have to use logic, and of course Excel is for me like. So I made in Excel stuff like where somebody can place in bills, right? And depending on which,
right,
what is this like 50 about different things cost you differently with different percentage of taxes, blah blah blah, and at the end you have to what you have to pay, and you have just to click this is one, this one, this one.
And graphics, you gotta come right into my fucking area, because I need to depict the vehicle and what not animated. It's just the symbology of the vehicle, yeah. And put entry boxes in different places, like yes, you may carry on.
But has this anything to do with the stream? Because if we're talking about, because we are still live.
I know, don't worry about it. That's why I said don't say this one. Say yeah, sure. I just
yeah. So if you need some help, and of course I would say I'm the guy who can help you, because I'm a narcissist, right? So I for sure can help you.
I need you. I need you.
No, don't do it. Don't do that.
Okay, I help you. Okay.
So the thing is, you should like send me stuff, and this and this do I need, and then I can tell you, I can do for sure, but if I will do or not, and what is the amount of time I will need for that. This is the most important stuff, right? If it's made like in an hour or something,
I'm not in a hurry.
I don't care.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry.
No, it's about time I have to invest in it. This is the only thing.
Right.
Okay.
Or at least, I mean, I can do it in Excel. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's carry on doing something. Right. Dawkins is an asshole. Okay.
Yes. So, was it the purpose of this whole thing to show how close Dawkins to the narcissist is? I don't think Dawkins is a narcissist. He's just stupid, delusional.
He's not a narcissist. Are you kidding me?
No, he's not. He's just delusional. He is a broken person. He invents language. He's talking about stuff. I mean, English is not my native tongue, but he's inventing stuff which do not exist, which sounds like, he has knowledge. Because I've watched funny stuff. I watched like 2 different debates between him and T-Jump.
I've seen him too.
Yeah,
I've seen him too.
And
but narcissist is not. It's not about the subject matter. Is about more of his personality. Is owning the information, regardless if information could be talking about fucking Father Christmas. He's saying I'm right because I'm always right, because I know more, because I've got an IQ of 190 like this guy or whatever, right? And I need to be right. I need to insult people. I need to do this. It's not the content, as I said. Yeah, content could be fucking anything.
No, as I told you, I'm. So for me, I don't need to. For me, there'll be no need. And of course, it's like anecdotal testimony, right? So for me, it's not important to insult people. I don't care about that, right? Because there will be no need if in my head I know I'm right, and I like I think of this other person. What a stupid guy, right? I
Right,
I don't need to tell him that, right? It will not even touch me, right? What he's saying, there will be no anger in me, right? I will be not raging and saying, "Oh, you're wrong," and I'm right. No, I would say, yeah, whatever, right? You are stupid as fuck. Let's move on, right?
Well, okay, because you haven't got a goal, or a goal to achieve per se. It is internal, right? Dawkins is all about. I want to be seen as an argumentative son of a fucking gun.
So my opinion, my opinion about him, he failed in everything what he's done. And what I mean by that, I mean, there are
he's a loser. For sure.
There are rumors, right, that he's living in his basement from his mom and stuff like that, divorcing.
That's not rumor. That's fact. I know where he lives.
I will not. I will. For copyright stuff, I will say that is a rumor, right?
Okay, cool.
I researched it myself and had a talk with him about this too. Right. I'm just saying to be nice. So based on this rumors, he failed all his life. He is frustrated living at the basement. The only thing what he can do is being a cult leader and collecting minions by speaking bullshit all the time, which sounds like something which is profound, right? And exactly those guys he gets. If you put yourself outside there and you're preaching for a while, then you will get them. There are not only Darth talking there are other people like him there, right? But he is one of the worst because, and the reason why he is not letting other people talk, this is exactly the same reason, because he knows he's talking bullshit and he can be caught talking bullshit. That's why he is not letting other people talk.
Right.
And his answers are, so can you demonstrate your God? Yeah, everything is a demonstration of God. And I want to ask you, right? This is like a thing, right? He's not proving anything. He is just ranting on about other people and not let other people talk. This is the thing.
Annoying, eh?
So for me, he's not a narcissist. He is just a broken cult leader. I don't know if there is a psychological person for that or term for that. No, if he'll be narcissist, he'll be doing much better than
that.
Okay, so he's making his own special class of narcissists. That's for sure.
But it comes closer to the explanation what this guy was telling us about.
Tom Rabbit has just put out a 24-second. I haven't watched it yet.
24 seconds.
24 seconds.
Okay, go.
I don't have so much time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
24 seconds. Are you kidding me?
All right. Hurry up. Let's hear.
Tangelo is in.
But you know, in a general sense, I have a lot of difficulties to understand what Darth is saying, and I have asked him many times to clarify, and then he tries to clarify, but the argument continues to be obtuse.
I wonder why. I'd like to ask Ozzy.
You see, what's his name? That guy that just spoke. Just ignored him.
That's Otangelo.
That's Otangelo.
No, the last one. The Jack Einstring.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It just whatever. He started talking to somebody else. Let's ignore Otangelo. He's fucking full of shit. That's double standard. No, it's not dishonest, but it's a grey area. He just talked nice, to probably the atheist room, because if Darth Dawkins is there, he would not say that. He would not even fucking dare. He hasn't got enough manhood.
Do you know Otangelo?
Yes, I do. I have fucking spoken to that idiot before. Yes, many times.
Okay, yeah, me too. So
Right.
what I know, right? He is a precept too.
For sure.
But when Darth and him are talking together, Darth is doing the same stuff with him, what he's doing with every other guy. He's called him stupid, right? He's not calling him that he's on his on the same side. He will call him stupid.
Yes.
And yeah, and when Otangelo says even he cannot understand the arguments, this is pretty funny.
Yeah, but he would not say that in front of him. That's the whole point.
Oh, I think he will do that.
No,
because,
he won't.
Oh.
He would be, well, sorry, he can say it, but there's consequences.
Let us just look up if there is a discussion of Otangelo versus Darth Dawkins on YouTube.
There is. Hold on. There is one. Yeah, and it's talking about okay, fucking dead on. Look, listen. He was talking to Darth Dawkins about he was talking about some bullshit, and then Darth Dawkins, to shut him up, he says, "Listen, you know that the Turing thing, that's bullshit. That's been debunked." And then instead of Otangelo defended like he normally does, yeah, with us infidels, he goes, okay, and he starts talking with another subject matter. That's what I'm saying. He said, Darth Dawkins pimped him and says, shut the fuck up, talk about something else. That's basically what I'm saying. Darth Dawkins is a very dominant person, especially to his minions, right? And they obey. They obey. That's the fucking magic word. They obey because they are his bitches, right? And of course, you said about the ass licking. They got big fucking tongues, and it goes from the back this way, if you got a bit. Yeah. So they lick everything in one go. Anyway, carry on.
I cannot find. How do you type
Otangelo?
Otangelo.
Otangelo.
Otangelo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm searching for something where they're two talking. But cannot find anything. Oh, triggered. Okay. Darth versus Otangelo, 11 minutes. But I didn't watch it. Shall we do that?
Yeah, sure.
Bring it on.
No, I will paste the link in the chat.
Yeah, only us can see it. I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I see it.
And I don't know if it's really about it, but it's Darth triggered by long hair Jesus Darth versus Otangelo.
I don't know, it could be. I'm not sure. But I do recall that.
Darth triggered by. All right. Hold on a second.
Let's just see if it's something like that.
Yeah, let me bring it in.
For.
Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
Hello, Jordan. Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be Jesus in your avatar?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, the New Testament says it's a disgrace for a man to have long hair. So why are you depicting Jesus that way?
Well, I've got long hair.
That's not an answer to my question. That was a deceptive response.
No, it's not.
Well, I've got long hair.
Okay, that's strike two. Give me a deceptive response
Strike two.
time, and I will kick you from the room. Okay? Now, did you need me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Why are you depicting Jesus with long hair when the New Testament says Specifically, Paul says, does not even nature show it's a disgrace for a man to have long hair?
Hold on for a second there.
I don't.
This is what Paul, the character Paul said about the sub-character Jesus, where this asshole Paul never saw fucking Jesus. Is he for fucking real? Right? Paul never saw this guy. Right? How does he know that he did have long hair or short hair or a beard? How the fuck does he know? He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, now can we carry on?
Yes, please, you may.
No.
Yeah, that's because in popular culture, because they've repeated imagery of Jesus from the Middle Ages, that they depicted him with long hair. They confuse Jesus being a Nazarene with being a Nazarite. Nazarites would not cut their hair, but that didn't entail that they wore it long and appeared like a woman. So
Nazarene.
If you're really a Christian, you shouldn't depict Jesus as having long hair.
What?
Okay, should I take it down?
Okay, what is it about Christians and long hair? If long hair, is it long hair on a person's body, long hair on their head, mean they're a woman? What about the boobs and the ass and the legs and the shape and the female and the... Doesn't that all count? It's just long hair that counts?
Yeah, but he's trying to try to not depict any type of homosexuality, right? He's trying to narrow it down. Not like they are fucking bald people gay.
What's it got to do with anything?
I know. No.
Long hair has got nothing to do.
No, it's his perception, not what we think.
So I understand, but what we can take away from this is that when he sees long hair on a person, he gets stimulated as if that person was a woman, no matter what it was, but it's got long hair.
Or gay, if it's from a man.
Doesn't matter. Long hair on a person is sexually stimulating to
because
a Christian.
Because Darth is depicted
so
Jesus as
Thor
male.
gay or what?
What?
So was Thor gay or what?
Thor?
According to Thor, the god Thor, long hair.
I don't know. What did the writers or the guy who made up Thor attribute to him?
I think Moses had a long hair as well at the end of the day, right?
Yes, you can watch the movie.
And Samson had a long hair.
And
right.
Samson's long hair was cut and he lost his powers. Remember?
Anyway, Darth is talking out of his ass because he's looking at the Christian point of view. The geezer was Jew. Shut the fuck up, Dawkins. You know what I mean? You haven't got even a foot to touch. You know what I mean? You're talking about the character of a Jew, not a character of a Christian. Yeah. So anyway, he's actually depicting a town, Nazarene, right? He was originally what language did he speak? I forgot the language now. Anyway,
the language is English.
No.
That's what we're speaking.
The Jesus characters.
Aramaic.
Aramaic. Yeah. Where was that region from?
That's some
same place, I think.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to make it broader. A broad. Instead of him, because Darth mentioned Nazarene, basically like a town. Yeah, those town people.
Nazareth is the town.
Right. So what's a bigger? But I think that dialect, it was not just Nazarene, but a wider.
But the fact is that Nazareth didn't even exist historically. At the point when Jesus was alive.
That's possible.
But who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Carry on. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
I think you shouldn't depict Jesus Christ as having long hair when the New Testament clearly says, does not even nature show it's a disgrace for a man to have long hair?
You see, men to have
Hi,
long hair.
Darth.
Otangelo, how are you doing, my friend?
Otangelo.
Doing good. How about you?
I am fine. I can't complain.
If you have to,
I think it's that one.
I changed it
I remember
for you.
that.
Yeah,
I don't want you to
answer
change it for me. The issue is, it's not that I'm offended. The issue is, you said you're a Christian. If you're a believer and a follower of Jesus Christ, you should not be representing him in a way that is not accurate or honoring to
He
him.
was not Christian, you fucking idiot.
You know, Darth, I have a little
doesn't get
bit
it.
different view on this. As you probably know, I believe that the Shroud of Turin is Christ's burial cloth.
Why?
And there doesn't have, well, there are many reasons. I can send you a link, and it is very robust and substantiated.
Why do you continue to believe that, given the discrepancy with the end of the Gospel of John?
Are you referencing in regards of the strips that John mentions, rather a linen cloth?
Yeah, he said that the head wrapping was demarcated from the body wrappings. Now,
yeah, there are actually two. There is actually
was the
a
shroud
cloth
above or below the
Is
head
Darth
wrapping and the body
debunking Christianity now?
You know, there are actually three separate wrappings that we are
No. Hold
talking
on for a second.
about.
It's not debunking
One
Christianity.
is
Hold
the
on.
big linen cloth.
Hold on.
Can you answer my...
Hold on.
Okay,
it's not I've listened about 4 or 5 times. Wait. Let me throw it. 30 seconds. What Darth Dawkins is trying to do is debunk Otangelo, or basically not debunk, stopping him, saying that Jesus Christ imagery was depicted due to the blood, right? And the Shroud of Turin and these two bitches, Otangelo and Darth, are arguing about the not the thickness, the layering of the thing. So the inner layer will allegedly impregnate the image, allegedly that it's fucking full of blood in the first place, yeah. And the Shroud of Turin, it was Otangelo saying the shroud is at the front. Sorry, in the immediate. So basically, he was bandaged a few times, right? That's what the two idiots are saying, right? And what Otangelo is saying is that the immediate one is the one that recorded the image, and what Darth is saying is that the last one was the shroud, which was at the end. Therefore, it cannot record the face because it would have been blurred away by the different layers. But that's basically what he's saying. Come.
Okay.
That's it.
My question.
Yes, I'm answering your question.
Was
there
the
is
turn above or below the
See?
head wrapping?
The head wrapping.
Well, it envelopes the entire body.
Otangelo didn't understand the question.
Shroud on top of the head wrapping.
Yeah. On top.
Okay, let me explain that to you. There is a sudarium which which covers Christ.
You're overly complicating this. Okay. Was the Shroud of Turin enveloping the head wrapping,
enveloping,
and the body wrappings where it was on top, or was it underneath?
Underneath. That's very important. He's partially correct.
I don't understand
to
your
depict
question.
The shape. You don't understand the question.
Either the Shroud of Turin that the
And
head
I bet.
wrapping
Stop it.
around.
Yeah, okay.
So the thing why he's not understanding the question, it's maybe why, because I wouldn't understand it too, because I was not aware that there were several wrapping or that did stuff like that. I just always thought there would be just one thing.
Me too, and I agree with you. I mean, what's he gonna do? A fucking toilet wrap paper? You
There'll be one shroud or one wrapping. It'll be wrapped more than once around the body. Right?
Yeah, but then, hold on. I agree with you, but think about this: if you got a 2 meter wrapping, 2 meter length that way. If you're gonna wrap somebody, right? The beginning would be here. Let's say you start from here and then you start wrapping it, right? Now the so-called imagery cannot be in the center. It has to be on the very edge, here, because you start wrapping it like that, right? So it would be marked.
What if they start wrapping from the feet and then and wrapping up?
No. Understand what I'm saying? When we're talking about wrapping, yeah, we're talking about wrapping this, right? Yeah. So the image has to be here in the beginning, right here.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's nothing how this Turin stuff looks like.
No.
That's fine. Correct. Precisely. That's what I was getting at. So both of them are fucked up because they're not considering that if it's in the middle, then somebody cut it, because you cannot make different layers, right? Because once you go to the opposite side, it will contradict the layer. You have to either push it through or turn it around and come back, right?
Can you, Sidney, can you post or share this image?
This image.
Like, in between, we can continue with the conversation, because I just want to, like...
What is that? Is that what they call the shroud?
Yes.
That's bullshit.
This is the image out of it, right?
Well, okay, that's impossible.
Yeah, but impossible to, when you, like you explained, to wrap them. This is like perfectly aligned.
That's two symmetries, right? That's two symmetries. That's for is double symmetry. Literally, is two is vertically symmetry and horizontal symmetry. Symmetry.
Yeah. This is
right?
the one thing, and the other thing. If you are capable of posting.
Well, I can do this one. Let me do this one first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first one, and then there is one when they make like that's
bullshit. That's bullshit.
It's the same one but with different techniques, right? You will never wrap somebody like this after his death, right? You see, it's completely symmetrical. Like there will be no wrapping around the body or something. It's like just they put him between two sheets and pressed him together.
Yeah, like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, sandwich.
Yeah. I need a sandwich, a Jesus sandwich on the go, please.
Jesus.
So. I'm going to say this image.
I'm
going to take the piss out of Angelo next time I see him.
Yeah.
He talked about this image already on several other occasions.
Oh, I need to. Okay. I need to say. Yeah, go on.
So I just brought it up because they are talking about this now. So we have to understand what they are talking about.
Sure.
Right.
About some layers and whatever. When there'll be layers, like you said, right? Or first or whatever. It will be never this image, right? It has to be some, because if you're wrapping stuff around something, it will never stay. Yeah, like this. The shroud should be different parts of body with different angles and something like that, but it has like the complete image. Like it's like the sandwich. They just folded it, put it like there is like under him something, they put the body, and then they did it like a omelette, right? They put just the other side on him, and this is it, right? So there was no like wrapping around him. Okay. We can move on with the fantastic.
Oh,
discussion.
okay. So what they're saying is that the bottom one or the top one is the top. The one above, it could be the top, and the bottom one could be the one underneath.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. There is one underneath and one is on top.
Right.
But if you look at it,
Where's the fucking face?
It's a perfect aligned.
Yeah,
right?
and you know what?
There is no wrapping around the body.
No, also that. It can take it even further, right? It can even take it further. There's no the contact point, right? The buttocks. You can have the shoulders. It's not. They're not represented, right? And what else? What seems to be the
You know what else I see in that? I see Jesus with long hair.
Yes, and that's the point, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is what the whole discussion was about. So let's go.
And a beard.
So can we?
And we saw. Maybe there was
it was a hippie. It was a hippie.
All right. So let's carry on then.
Yeah, let's carry on.
The
Sorry,
at the head point, or the shroud of Turin was covering up the head wrapping. Which was it?
You asked me that already another time, and I explained you that there is a distance between the back and fourth image, which
You're
explains
not answering the question. You are dodging it.
No, I think I'm not understanding precisely what you're asking.
Either the Shroud of Turin was above or below the head wrappings. The head wrapping, excuse me.
Were the head wrappings? How does he know that it was head wrappings?
Well, I don't know if
because
it
we
was
see the
below
head
or
with some
above
hair.
Which what? Well, it was one or the other.
Right, I suppose that it was below the...
Okay, thank you for finally answering the question. Now, here's the problem. It makes no difference to the line of reasoning whether it was above or below, because
So why
either
ask the
way,
question?
the head wrapping would not be demarcated. Okay, do you understand?
No.
No, he's wrong. Darth Dawkins
If
is
the
wrong.
Shroud of Turin was below...
Shocking.
Excuse me, above the head wrapping and the bodily wrappings. When Peter and the other disciple looked into the tomb, they would not have seen the demarcation. But in the Gospel of John, it says they did see the demarcation. They were separate
Stop there
from
for a
each
second.
other. They could clearly see.
Stop for a second.
Okay.
If let's entertain it just for fucking laugh, I'm one of the disciples at that time, right? So one of the bitches that run to notify us that the main man has risen or disappeared, not risen, disappeared, right? Me, the disciple, would run. No, I don't believe you, bitch. Right? I mean, I have to believe her, but I would have said for those apostles to be.
Not only those. Bring me another bitch.
No,
right?
no.
Your opinion doesn't count anyway.
Fine. So, yeah. So he runs to the tomb allegedly to check for the body, not for the fucking wrapping. Right? What is he gonna do? Fucking CSI? Let me see. You know what I mean? If it was the same guy or somebody make a change of fucking. Why would you check the shroud? Why? Yeah, the shroud would be touching the fucking if it was taken, right? Either he put his fucking shroud back on and go to his merry-go, right? Or it would be flat on the surface wherever he was fucking buried, or in a tomb, right? It won't be elevated to hide somewhere. What do they put fucking sandbag to see if he was really there or not? No, this is not a escape from a fucking jail, right? This is a body allegedly being taken out, right? So there's no need to check the configuration of the blood. There's no reason. This is not an investigation of was he there or not. The idea is to go there, according to what this fucking prick Darth Dawkins is saying, is to go to see if he did really disappear. And according it disappeared. So my intention would be, fuck, there's nobody here. Let me see where I can find him. And then I'm going to chase him somewhere else. I don't need to see a fucking robe, a bloody robe. That's my point.
Yeah.
Next.
They were demarcated. They were not contiguous. Okay? Now, if the Shroud of Turin was above the head wrapping and the body wrappings, if the head wrapping was below the Shroud of Turin, they could not have seen it demarcated from the body wrappings. Okay? If it was
I
above,
don't understand.
If it,
maybe you
this
can
is not
close
very this is
yeah,
not
but
very
maybe
complicated.
You can...
If
making
the
shit
Shroud
up
of
is not
Turin
complicated.
was covering up the body wrappings and the head wrapping, then they would not have seen
body wrappings. The body wrappings. What are you talking about?
Okay, the Jews would traditionally take linen sheets and tear them into long but wide strips and wrap the body in a spiral fashion. Every time they wrapped it, they would put various aromatic
exactly what I told.
spices
the short
in
of
between
green
the
doesn't look
wrappings of a layer. Okay?
I'm not sure if that's what actually happened there.
Okay, well, here's the problem, okay? The text actually says that there was a head wrapping.
I think that is in regards of the Sudarium.
Now,
because there is a faith.
You're acting like an unbeliever now with your constant interruption. The head wrapping, according to Jewish tradition, would wrap the body separately from the body wrappings. In the Gospel of John,
it's not Christian tradition.
Saw that the
so you are admitting that it was Jew.
From the
of
body
course,
wrapping.
he was a Jew.
Oh,
I mean, it was.
I
But he was
get
a
what you're
king
talking
of
about.
Judah.
Yeah.
It says they were demarcated. Okay, they could distinguish the head wrappings from the body wrappings.
Right.
If the Shroud of Turin was on top, they could not have been able to do that. If the Shroud of Turin was underneath, then the head wrapping would have been contiguous with the Shroud of Turin.
Yes,
along
I agree with that.
The body wrappings.
Do you understand what he's saying?
Okay. There was not
right. Okay.
No,
I don't.
Yeah,
So,
no. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, first of all,
and I have another question too before
Go
you
on.
go on, because you are the specialist.
You should be the specialist.
So imagine Jesus died and he was hanging there for I don't know how long, right? And was bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be his blood already gone or turned into like yeah.
That's cute. That was cute.
Like a cloth of blood. I mean, would he still bleeding?
Right. Well, I think if you're gonna inflict pain on somebody, but with the intention of for that person or that victim to carry across, then you should not inflict bleeding damages. Right now, he was whipped, he was this, he was that, he put a crown or whatever. I'm entertaining that story, right? That narrative. So he was put a crown, so he's got fucking a couple of points here of blood around it. So
nails in his feet and hands.
Yeah, but that's 4 points of contact. Okay, now on the terminal, i.e. at the edge of the center of the heart, right? So, and also he had a massive one allegedly in one of his side by a spear. Right, which probably was the one made him kill him, the one who killed him. Yeah, the injury that killed him. Right now, having said that, so he's got 4 nails, a couple of poking in his crane, exterior head, right around his head, right, and one massive one on a side, right? Assuming that the allegedly geezer did not go through it through the whole shebang. I know, I understand. That's why we're entertaining it. I'm 100% with you. Yeah, the story is bullshit anyway, but we're entertaining the story, right? Not the factual thing, right? So this alleged body, right, was taken down allegedly, right, and because one of his cousins, whoever the prick gave him the tomb, right? It says, okay, take it to my tomb. So people would have taken it, unclothe him and prepare him for the death. Maybe sewing the wounds so it doesn't fucking start spewing out.
Wait. So
Maybe
I have to admit that when I was in my teens, I used to work in a Jewish cemetery.
Okay.
And I used to prepare the people who died. Okay, they were not cut or something. But the thing is, you wash them before you bandage them.
Right.
So
yeah,
they'll
I'm
be
agree with
clean.
you.
They'll be clean. There'll be no blood.
So it stands to reason that if because you're not gonna you cannot stop cleaning if blood is pouring out from a hole
once, yeah,
right. So we have to assume or entertain the possibility that it must be sewn away, right, in some fashion, right. So now we got zero or a minimum leakage of blood somewhere, right. Yeah, they could have put fucking oil, thick oil or whatever, yeah, to stop the bleeding to it. But anyhow, you have to think that the heart is not pumping, right? So it's not forcing the blood out anyway, right? Only gravity will do that, right? So if it's lying on a flat surface, like for a place where you prepare the deceased, right? Yeah, sure, you're gonna move. If it's being folded, he has to be fucking moved, right? Laterally, like that, laterally, right? So you put if it's being gonna be in a several turns, right? And that is where I came back again. It's like a fucking toilet roll, right? A human-sized toilet roll, right? I don't think it's the head, or it could have been up to the neck and then the burial. But if that is in two, then the shroud will be in two pieces, the head piece and the rest of the body piece. Because it's not, that means, or we come to the conclusion that it was a full wrap, a full body wrap, right? You cannot say head wrap or body wrap or body wrap. You can't. Not under the definition of the graphic, right? Now, if it's one single turn, i.e., from here turn around and here, i.e., around and here, then it's only one single sheet. But when you introduce wrapping, and this is what I was trying to emphasize, if you start doing a wrapping, right, the image has to be in one side of the beginning of the wrapping of the toilet roll, right? It's like just common sense, right? If this is not the case, sorry, if the wrapping was the case, and he was wrapped as in physically a couple of times, that means somebody cut the fucking Turin, right, to make it one single one single rotation of sorts, right? So that's, he's got like a one single wrapping, right? So he's got 3 or 4. He was unwrapped, so you got 4 or 5 layers, yeah, and he was cut on his first turn, and that should be the image. That's what these two idiots are trying to depict, right? Because Dawkins is admitting wrapping. Doesn't matter what layer it is, he's admitting wrapping. By definition, he's fucked up, right? Doesn't matter what stage is the silhouette or the marking, right? They are not mentioning that it's been cut. If it's not, if it's not been cut, sorry, Yeah, if it's not been cut, that Turin is a fake because it depicts not more than one rotation by definition. Right? Do you understand the logic behind it? No. What do you mean no? What part of no? Yeah. Right. Okay. Jesus Christ. Right. The Turin or the rapping. Right. That is it is the same thing, and he's saying the outer wrapping, it could be the shroud. The shroud is the one that covers the body, right? So there's a conflict between these two idiots by saying which one of the shroud is the one, is the inner layer or the outer layer. Then right, fine. I am agreeing with you. If that's the case, which I'm agreeing with you, right? If I do 2 or 3 wrappings, shall we not agree that this layer here, it will not depict a body because it would be splashing all over. It would be a blob, right? Because it would be guarantee, physically guarantee, right? Now. Okay, listen. This is another one, right? I'm gonna do this worldwide. Listen to me, people. This is the shroud, right? The shroud, and that's a wrapping, inner wrapping. Shall we call it inner wrapping? Right. So if we put this motherfucker on top of it, right? What is it going to record? What? You're not gonna hear me. Right, which will be the minimum part of the blood because it will be spread all around. Correct. And therefore the top layer or the AKA shroud, it will be a oval or a shape, an oval sort of shape. No, sorry, not oval. It would be an oval shape of the area there might be blood, right? Because it could be a little bit on the no, not even that, because if the motherfucker was sewn, and as correctly Pio said, he could have been washed, right? That in itself, right? Okay. So by default, it cannot be blood, right? So you cannot impregnate. So the image cannot be impregnated on blood because allegedly the culture was to be washed. It cannot be sweat. It cannot be any type of thing unless the people or the ladies there that handle the body put some sort of oil, unguent, some sort of oil, but that would have been across the body, and it would not be registered. It would not be registered, right? It would not be visually registered. It would not be. It would be like putting oil on top. Well, it would be an imprint, but not visually noticeable like blood. It would be transparent of source or a weird pigment, right? But I don't think that it would. I don't think the people that in that time put a pigment of blood. That would be fucking sadistic, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's say you want to clean the body and then put a beauty cream of source because of tradition or whatever. You would not make it the color red. That would be fucking mental. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. The lighter the color, or the more translucent, or the less perceptible. Correct. We have to agree with that. Well, somebody has to be intellectually dishonest, right, to say that you wrap a victim of a blood incident and assume that the blood will still be there, because that means that the people that took care which there was no restriction to the body. No, there was no restriction to the level of care, because allegedly it was given by the Romans, given away. So he was not thrown in on a pit, right? But even if he was thrown in a pit, let's entertain that. If he even was thrown in the pit and then collected, he would still be cleaned. So there's no fucking excuse for cross-contamination or anything like that. They probably even fucking wipe his ass, sarcastically speaking, right? There you are. See, I was being stupid, but everything from fine. So therefore, the body was properly washed, comprehensively washed, due to respect, and especially if people thought that this guy was a god. Fuck me, you know what I mean? Yeah, this was not a normal dude, right? This was
an alleged dude.
An alleged magical dude, right? So the utmost care should have been taken care, should have been adhered to, right? So blood, it was not optional, in my opinion, right? So if it was blood, then it was negligence. It was not treated. Right. Something wrong. Yeah. So these two fucking characters, at the end of the day, they're talking out of the mouth. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah. What? Yeah. What? No. Yeah. Yes, because it's called Sydney. Yes, because it's called entertainment bullshit. Right. So we had to entertain bullshitology.
Not a situation where there's the Shroud of Turin and then the head is wrapped on top of the Shroud of Turin. That's not how the Jews did it. Okay? But if you want to insist that, then all you simply then have is the head wrapping, that it would then be contiguous with the rest of the wrappings, and it would not have been demarcated. It would all have been seen as one contiguous unit. This is not very complicated.
He's missing the point.
So whether the Shroud of Turin was above or below,
as usual,
this conflicts with the eyewitness account in the Gospel of John, at the end of the Gospel of John.
No.
Okay.
Stop it there. Stop that bitch.
Nice to see you, Uncle
Right.
Joe, bro.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. He's talking out of his ass at the end. First of all, according to John, right? I don't know if he saw it or not. I don't think he even fucking was a witness to that, right? And I don't think he was in the tomb either. I think it was hearsay. So basically, Tom wrote about how he would have imagined it or how he would have seen it at that time. Yeah, and then wrote it. And then this guy, Darth Dawkins, is saying, oh no, John said this, and that is a case of fact. Bullshit. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah,
nice
I am
to see you
confused
as well. Thank you for
with
that.
what you're saying, and I don't see any problem. What I know is that there is a sudarium that is a face cloth which is stored in Spain, in Oviedo, and it matches the blood strands. It's the same blood, and it matches also with the signs with the Shroud of Turin. And they also used wrappings, which is what
I feel sorry for you. There were a number of shrouds.
Interrupt.
See the number of shrouds.
The next day,
so he's debunking it.
Pascal's wager in that way, right? Hey, Tom Rabbit in the live stream chat said you were talking about the Shroud of Turin yesterday. Did you change your mind on it?
No. Why should I? Give me a good reason, and I change my mind.
I don't know what he's talking about, but.
Yeah, my standard question about this is show me how the image on the shroud was made, and I will disbelieve that it is actually the burial cloth.
I want to try the outsider test for faith.
Never seen.
Okay, yeah, fine. I just wanted an answer. No, Tom Rabbit, he hasn't changed his mind. That's all I wanted to hear.
Okay.
But
go on to Tom Rabbit's channel.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking rapping bullshit. That's only good to convince the gullible, right? Not people with critical thinking, right? and he's trying to convince a person like Otangelo that at least he's trying to think, right, or rationalize. Not think. He's trying to rationalize how could this person has the possibility of the people being negligent, or basically, in essence, this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. They're saying, or this idiot, Otangelo is saying, they got the body. They straight away wrapped him, right, in situ, whatever the fucker was.
Mm-hmm.
And if this guy, let's say they pulled it down from the cross,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Like if that is a case, because the idea was for them to fucking rot there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's no fucking ladder system, right? What are they gonna do? Oh, give me the fucking hammer so I can take out the fucking big fucking nails, right? Remember, these fuckers hit the nails down like that, vertically down, right? You cannot fucking go like that and start taking it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's bullshit, right? That's it. If you're trying to entertain a possibility that, right? He more or less a rotten individual or a criminal. If he was taken down, they probably fucking ripped him. Yeah, the Romans. Yeah. Oh, you want this body? No problem. Yeah, one arm, lift it up. You see what I mean? What I'm getting at? Yeah, right. That was the more sense. They're not going to treat it nicely, right? Now, you say take this piece of shit meat somewhere else. So they grab him, just as entertainment value. They grabbed him. It's let's put him. Let's bandage the guy. No sewing, no nothing, right? That's a disrespect to the body, regardless the body is. And we're talking about Jews with Jews, right? Now, we could entertain that they cover it to take it to 100 instead of seeing it going like that, flapping around. I understand that it probably bury it, right? But they must have been treated properly once they put it into before they put it into. Oh, by the way, have you thought about this? When they say the stone roll over, that means it was no burial, right? It was a fucking cave, right? It was a fucking cave, or told you. No, but let's entertain the bullshit, right? So the guy, is it Arimatheus? The guy that bought that thing, or somebody else? Some rich guy got a tomb, yeah, a cave tomb, right? Because you don't roll the stone laterally; it's too fucking heavy. Yeah, it is possible to roll a stone sideways like that, right? But a stone on a tomb is fucking very heavy, right? You need a ton of people to not to lift it but to move it. Yeah, you need to wedge it, right? Anyway, you move the stone, you put the body probably in some sort of slab, because they might have a sarcophagus and the lid already ready, right? So they put the geezer, the person on top to prepare him, to wash him up or whatever. So I don't think they're going to use the same wrapping, right? I'm thinking that probably if it was banded, he would probably take it down, the wrapping on either side of the tomb, right? Yeah, and then wash him up or whatever. Yeah, and then cover him up. But as I say, it comes back again in the same point of view that he must have been cleaned, right? Because then the woman will activate the preparation mode, which is sewing the guy whatever the fucking hole were, right? Yeah. So where in the picture it depicts the lateral injury from the Roman, where, right? There cannot be symmetry. There must be a blob on one side, a distinct. If it was one single wrapping, right, it must have shown on one side, on a lateral side of the on the lateral side of the body, one side of the chest, right? Now both of them is completely symmetrical. The problem that they have in antiquities is that they were stupid, right? They thought that the people in the future would be equally stupid, right? Especially that it was written by allegedly intelligent people, like scribes or whatever. Yeah, fuck it, let's copy this. Yeah, they never change the text, or if they change it wrongly. Well, there were contradictions, so they did change it, right? So bottom line is that doesn't matter how you sugarcoat it, the narrative does not meet the culture that day. Yeah, the Romans would not allow the body to be given away, because at the end of the day he was a criminal, right? It would have been thrown in a pit and probably not able to get access. Second, the bandage part sounds like bullshit, not coherent. And if it was bandage, it would have been a long strip if they would have kept it, right? But you cannot. But that means they neglected cleaning him, which is incoherent again on the Jewish society, according to Pio, from first-hand account. Right? We're talking about we're not talking about criminal. We're talking about beloved.
And the whole burial itself is totally bogus, because the Jews just wash the body, right? Taking a wooden box and bury it in the earth. They don't put it in a tomb
correct me if I'm wrong.
or whatever.
What about, because that happens in current society, if somebody is well off, they don't want to be buried with the rest, right? And apparently this type,
he wasn't too well off. He was the
if somebody well off and he bought a tomb. That's what I'm getting at, because the tomb was given to him. He did not have an original burial.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm trying to. I'm learning. I'm learning here.
And in fact, he was at this time Christianity didn't exist, right?
Right. So therefore, it was Jewish law.
It was Jewish. He was a Jew,
sure,
right?
Sure.
He should be buried like a. He should be buried like a Jew.
Right. So how? No. It start from the moment a Jew. No. It start from a. Okay. You're gonna educate us, okay? I'm gonna put fuck it. Yeah, seriously. Let's do it. Right. Yeah. Right. We have a criminal Jew that the body was given to the family, right? Yeah. Okay. Now from that moment, and he has bodily injury. He's got holes, right? And he's pouring out like a motherfucker. Okay. Now, what happened, Pio? What is the course of action?
I mean, first of all, he was hanging there for some time. The bleeding will somewhere stop. Then he'll be washed, right?
Right.
And to the Jewish tradition, there is no special stone burial place. There must be like a wooden box he will be put in, right? And this will be buried to the ground. Doesn't matter what's on top. If there are some fancy stuff on top, that's not the thing. Right. But the thing is, he'll be cleaned, get bondage, and there will be a wooden box which we bury directly to the ground.
Hold on. Is it possible? Right? Is it possible? I'm actually talking out of ignorance here. Okay, yeah. I'm here in learning mode. Is it possible for a rich Jew?
No, because this is not the tradition. Doesn't matter how rich he is or how fancy, whatever. The Jewish burial rituals says there is no fancy stuff. You'll be bondaged, put in a wooden box, and buried. Then on top, you can have some fancy stuff, right?
Right.
But there'll be no no.
Is it possible? Let's say from 0
there'll
to
be
100.
No cave. There'll be no stone cave.
That's what I was getting. At. Yeah.
There'll be no stone.
Is it above ground burial?
No, it's
above ground burial.
No, it's always underground because it's
always underground.
Yeah.
So that's clear for the reference for the future. There cannot be a cave. There's no Jewish cave burial. So there's no rotary stone.
No, this is something completely.
No, it's fine.
completely-
I'm fine.
yeah.
I'm putting the
Yeah.
grounds, and then
Yeah.
you need to say no. That's fucking bullshit, right? That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Yeah, I'm actually laying out the side
Yeah.
of the Bible, and you say no. That is a Jewish. No, that's not a Jewish tradition, right? So
Yes.
we got okay. So the narrative is a rich Jew allegedly bought or made a fucking cave or whatever, made a hole on a rock, yeah, and above ground, not a deep cave, above ground, right? Because he was not buried underground. It doesn't say that, right? Because the stone moved. That means they don't say nothing about the digging the earth and moving the stone. Do you understand what I mean? Right. So according to the narrative, it was a horizontal, a one-to-one correlation in the sense that you walk into a hole, into a cave, right?
Yeah.
And allegedly, doesn't matter if he's there or a hole or whatever, he's there, right?
Yeah,
And
makes no sense.
fine.
Whatever.
Let's make let's make more no sense, if you know what I mean, right? So there is supposed to be some sort of surface, or he was treated in the sense of cleanliness, preparation for burial, right? He must have been washed, right?
Yes.
So he either he was either washed before taking it to the so-called fucking hole, a cave, to the Bat Cave. It might have been Batman.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. So okay, Batman cave. So he was washed there or outside. Then he was bandaged. Well, bandage is the right thing apparently, right?
No, it happens. The bodies will be washed. This is like washing. Make the
fine.
bondage stuff.
Yeah,
Put in a wooden box.
let's not forget what Sydney said. We need a plug hole, right? A proper plug hole. Sorry, a bat hole. A bat hole plug.
Yeah.
Right?
Butt hole, mouth hole, nose hole.
Yeah.
All of that's
Nose hole,
plugged up.
ear hole, everything, right?
Yeah.
Right. So there were no possibility of accretion of fluids, unless you fucking start a stamp onto the body, which would be fucking irrational, right? So we're talking about a contained vessel of sorts. No, sorry, a clean contained vessel, right, with no possibility of being extra fluids, bodily fluids. So this guy was allegedly fucking bundled up in a so-called shroud, yeah, and then either left there or put into, which is even worse, like the kings do, have a tomb above ground with a lid, right? Because otherwise it would have been a slab, like a table of sorts, and left it there. But that's not a burial, right? I don't think they will desecrate the body by saying, "Oh, fucking hell, I cleaned it. Let him rot on top of stone or whatever." Yeah, right,
exactly.
right. That's
No,
fine. That's
no
fine.
way.
No way.
way.
Fine. We are entertained that is wrong. Okay, so let's do the narrative on the what should have happened, right? Given that the Romans would have entertained giving the body away, which is that's bollocks in itself, right? Because why give the body? Why give away the body of a criminal? Because the idea of a criminal is to be shown as a criminal, right? So, but anyhow, the body was given for entertainment purposes, right? The right thing would have done. Okay, Pio, sorry, now here, when the body should have been clean when the deceased was confirmed deceased, the dead was dead. If that makes any fucking sense.
The thing is, you have to do it as fast. Usually, the best thing you can do as a favor is to bury the body as soon as possible.
Okay.
That's the law.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So he must be cleaned, wrapped in a wooden box.
Right.
Right. No fancy stuff.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Go. My apologies. Carry on. I'm thinking
And
ahead or something.
Buried underground.
Yeah, but hold on. Before you reach the burial ground, in a common burial ground, right? Or any field will do.
Yeah.
Or in other words, is it a cemetery?
Yes, this will be, of course, a good thing. But the thing is, why it will be good in on Jewish cemetery, because the Jewish cemeteries are not reused, right? And
so what you're saying is, once it's filled, they have to make another cemetery.
Yes.
So therefore, hold on. The second thing, are Jewish cemeteries respected in any time of history?
Yes, even in so whenever you visit Jewish cemetery, as long as they are not destroyed by war or whatever,
right, or natural catastrophe, yeah,
they are not reused. They are just filled until they are full, and then they are closed, and then the people are moving to a different place, making a new cemetery.
Sure. Now, one thing. So actually, based on that information, which I agree as believable what you're saying, because it makes sense.
No, the thing is, I can tell you why. Because when the Messiah comes and God will come, everybody will be resurrected, right? And they will start from their burial place, kind of go until under earth to Israel, and then it will come up there.
Pure
funny stuff, right?
Pure. No, this is serious. This is serious, right? What I was getting at is that if there is a Jewish burial zone, which is totally cool, this individual, this character named Jesus, would have been allocated a plot. It would have been elected for that person. Bury him there. So they made a fucking 6-foot hole or whatever.
He was a Jew, right? He was a Jewish.
Fine. That's what I'm saying.
Should be. There'll be no like. Nobody will think, even the most richest Jew who thought he was the good guy, right, to do him Jesus a favor, right? Then she'll be buried on the cemetery within 24 hours in a wooden box under the earth.
Right, but what I was getting at, yeah, I agree. I'm with you there. Perfect. We are solid ground there, right? Rhetorically. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say here is that we should be able to identify 2,000-year-old cemeteries, shouldn't we? It should be very large, like 200 bodies or so. Right. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Therefore, if tradition falls, Jesus should be in one of those fucking holes.
Yes, I'm sure that you can visit Jewish cemeteries in Israel who are older than, at least as archaeological discoveries, right? You will find them like untouched.
There you are.
Okay. So at my place, I have, like 1,000-year-old in Hamburg, right?
But no, it has to be in a place. It has to be in a place where there were conflict, right?
Of course, but they will still bury those guys, right? And they'll have cemeteries, and maybe other people will destroy it or not, right? So depending on them, or they stayed for a long time there, and then people left from this area.
Right.
So there are for sure cemeteries which are older than 2,000 years.
What it cannot be is, it would be highly unlikely that an invader where if all the bodies are buried, because I don't see them using machinery to dig them out. Oh yeah, sure, there will be slaves and things like that, but there's no reason in a level surface, in a level area, right, to dig down to get rid of it to make a palace.
They'll be just maybe destroying the top stuff.
Right. Yeah. To rebuild.
But there will be too much work to destroy the stuff which is under the ground.
Right. That makes totally fucking sense. Correct. So even better for that fucking reason, right? It will make that will debunk, first of all, not the treatment, because allegedly he was somebody under that name was what the fuck with the cloth, the shroud. He was a veil was put around him, right? The problem that we have with the narrative, with the biblical narrative, is that he was buried above ground on a cave.
Yes, totally unusual bullshit.
Not just unusual. We had to reach the level of impossibility, in the sense of not even rich people will do that.
Yes, because because the greatest favor you can do a family in Jewish tradition, the greatest favor, like if you want to do really the best, right?
Yeah.
You will do exactly like that. You will wash him and wrap him up, put him in a fucking wooden box, and bury him as soon as possible within 24 hours. And if you do that, you make him a much more favor. You are with the family. You are honoring this guy much more, as if you will build up a palace and let him there.
I got another thing. The Bible narrative said that there were 3 bitches outside moaning about this character being dead in his burial ground, above ground, right? So is that the tradition that women will moan next to the burial, even if it's underground, after the fact? Or will you bury and get the fuck out of there?
No, what we do, that's
what I'm getting at.
Yes,
that's right. Every funeral I've ever been to, it's a little talk beforehand. And I've only been to Jewish funerals.
Fine.
Okay, so it's a little speech beforehand, maybe, then into the ground, and that's it. Goodbye.
Yeah, and you get because of course there's a time that people have to grieve the right word. Like to be sad, right?
Yeah.
But the purpose why people are going there is to help this person who lost somebody, whatever, to try to go over it. So you do in effect
to move on.
Yeah. So you do everything so you don't not let's stay people there and complaining and crying and all this stuff. You do everything to move them from this place.
Right.
And,
I understand.
Yeah.
So now in real time, in the real Jewish MO, the guy will be buried underground. There will be nobody there, right? Okay. So there is no possibility for somebody saying that somebody got resurrected.
Yeah.
Right? Because the only way that could happen, not the resurrection, that the only way that could happen is that if the person, the deceased, was re-earthed, i.e. they took the body away, right? And said, look, the empty tomb, or the empty sarcophagus, or the empty wood, right? But you see the amount of work they have to do to depict an empty tomb. It's a fancy word saying empty tomb, but there is fucking work involved. And he says the third day he resuscitated. Let's entertain that, right? So in the first 24 hours, that motherfucker has to be dead. Buried, right, in a common grave, right, with no special treatment, special service. Yeah, just bury the guy. Sorry, everybody. Happy. Let's move on. Get the fuck out of my cemetery, right? So day 2 and day 3, the robbers or the people that needed to take to take the body out has to dig out the body. Dig out the earth. Take either open the casket, not the casket, the wooden box, nailed down. Nailed in onto the box, right? Nailed in, right? Because I don't think they could just fucking cover it, right? They nailed it in. Take all the context, give the shroud to Otangelo,
Exactly.
Right? Right? Yeah.
Send it the shroud per UPS to Otangelo.
Yeah. Right. That was nice. That was nice. Right? So he can discuss that with the fucking silly bottle Daffy Pooh. And then say to everybody, look, empty tomb, aka resurrection.
Exactly.
Yeah. They put him in a fucking pole 200 meters away. The arsehole like that, and somebody in the back, yes, come back. Oh, he came back. Yeah, I came back. Yeah, right. And then they burn some sort of white stuff. Yeah, and they take their body away, and he poofed into fucking heaven. Oh yeah, I saw him. He just fucked off. So rude. You know what I mean? He didn't give us say goodbye or anything like that. Yeah, that's it. That's the fucking story. Now, that's possible. That elaboration, right? That, and then if you put more bullshit about it, say, look, I saw his fucking holes. Why would you need to see holes if it was covered? By tradition. Da-da. Why in the film it says, look, motherfucker, look at my hole here. Yeah, how can you do that if it's already covered? Yeah, how can you take the fucking shit out of your mouth? Yeah, right. That's what I was getting at. No, the ignorance of the methodology to create the story. Yeah, the story makers. Oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I just fucked up in Christianity. Sorry, in Judaism.
Yeah.
Sorry, in Judaism. Remember, your Christian alleged God is fucking Christian. Is you and your God. Spoiler alert! It was fucking Jewish. Yeah, which first of all, it was non-denominational because Adam and Eve, that motherfucker was a god, a Jewish god when Abraham came along. No, it was. You know what? The Jewish made him Jewish God.
Yeah, it was in Canaanite God.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever he was thieved away, right? He was thieved. They say the same thing the Christian did and the Islamic the Muslim people did, right? They call it fucking what's the other one? Whatever. Yeah.
Osama bin Laden. Nein, this was not the name of the god.
Huh?
Allah.
That guy. Yeah. Apparently, it's the same fucking person that God, the Jewish God, is, aka the Christian God. What the fuck? Who? It is a clear evidence. Yeah, go on. Sorry, boss. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Hold on. Gods are imaginary. That makes that fucking imaginary.
And
Now
prove
you have to end the stream like that.
Yeah.
Right. See you later. And he was not buried in a fucking cave. Only Batman. Yeah, but even in a myth, you get even the Jewish could not bury him in a imaginary in a cave. That's how fucking far you. You know. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
This is what they like. Yeah. And still prove us wrong.
Yeah. And you still all you motherfucker wrong.